Hello, what ho! Welcome back to another exciting adventure of The Plain Truth. I'm your host, Travis Finley. Just going to be signing in here for the modern day debates, so here we go. Check, check, check.
Excited here.
We sounding good?
You hear me?
I've got audio, yep.
Here I am. Am I silent?
No, we can hear
No,
you.
we got you.
Oh, I know what it is. Turning up my volume. Stoked to have you guys here. This should be a lot of fun. Right now, I am currently just getting the last things set up. I always start a few minutes late. So, do I remember? Forgive me. I'm trying to remember what the format was for tonight. Is it just the standard, like roughly 10 minutes opening statement and then from each person and then open conversation for about an hour and then 25 minutes of Q&A?
I
Sure.
think that's fine.
Sweet. Excited. Let's see here. Almost set.
Got my drinks already.
Nice. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you're healthy, feeling good.
Corona's coming, boys.
It's crazy what I'm reading in the news. It does seem apocalyptic.
Is it only boys that Corona is killing?
Well, we're all boys here, I'm assuming. So,
I think it affects men worse, though. I saw a headline that said that.
it's the time we need to put in the communist revolution right now and get it started. This is a perfect opportunity.
Does that sound good to you,
Anybody that
Travis?
disagrees can at me.
Yeah, Travis.
Yeah, what? Why am I getting thrown under the bus?
Because, well, I mean, Travis. I'm almost set. Let me get this. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. Excited. You guys we're gonna start so like on time, which is it might scare people, but it's gonna be all right. So yeah. Let's see. Trying to think of any last things. Do you guys have any last questions? Oh, you know what I just remembered. So sorry, Connor. I don't think I have your if you have a link you'd like me to put in the description, I can do that. You don't have to.
You can put my email if you feel necessary. I don't really have any links or anything.
You got it, dude. And then, plain truth, I've got yours from past debates, so
Yeah.
take care of that. And pumped. Let's see. Yeah. So, any last questions before we rock and roll, guys?
Nope.
No.
Awesome. I'm doing a sound check, and then we'll get going. Let's see. Pump, pump, pump. Got the blazer. Ready to rock and roll. Always fun. Super pumped. It's going to be great. All right, there we go. Awesome. I'm doing a sound check, and then we'll get going. Let's see here. All right, pumped. Here we go, guys. Pump it, pumped, and plugging in my sweet headphones. The last step. So the way we do it is I will do the cold open where I say, hey, everybody, today we're debating flat earth and we're starting right now. And then it'll have our 10-second little logo clip. Now, when it does that little logo clip, it will be silent on our sides, but I promise that's the way it's supposed to be. The audience will be hearing it and nothing is wrong. So I just want to let you know that everything's going according to the plan. Then after that, I will basically introduce you guys and get you guys started. So yeah, pumped. Glad you're here. Thanks so much. And starting in 3, 2, 1, gonna unmute. In 3, 2, 1, go. Hey everybody, today we are debating flat earth versus globe earth, and we are starting right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here for another epic debate. Oh boy, these flat earth debates are something. I can't believe it. But you know what? People they really are enjoying them. And I have to be honest, I do learn something new every time. And so want to let you know though, folks, if it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button, as we've got a lot more debates coming up. So for example, you'll see at the bottom right of your screen, Wotan returns in less than a week for a good old, of course, flat earth debate. So that should be a lot of fun. And we've got many others coming up. Intelligent design will be going on tomorrow afternoon. That should be a fun one. And want to let you know, folks, if you're listening and you're like, oh, I'm listening, I'm loving this. Oh, I want more. I desperately want to hear more. You can hear more. I put both of the speakers' links in the description. In fact, for Pleasant Connor, I've put his email. And by the way, why do I call him Pleasant Connor? That's the name I have given him. He's been christened Pleasant Connor. His real, I don't know if it says that on his birth certificate, but you know, real name Connor. Why is he Pleasant? I have to say, I appreciate so much that his email was so polite, and also it was so, if you want to debate, folks, if you send me an email like Pleasant Connors, it just had all the details of like, here's the topic I want, here's my position, here are the times I'm free, and this is the person I'd like to debate. And I was like, oh my gosh, so easy. Thank you so much. So that is available to you folks. I'm at moderndaydebate@gmail.com in case you would like to debate somebody. Ideally, you have someone in mind. That makes it quicker for me because sometimes it's hard to find people. But I want to let you know, folks, we're going to get rolling right now. So for the opening statements, it's going to be a flexible, roughly 10 minutes for each person, followed by 60 minutes of open conversation and 25 minutes of Q&A. So if you have a question, fire it into the old live chat. And then if you tag me with an @ModernDayDebate, that makes it easier for me to not miss your question. Super chats also go to the top of the list for the Q&A, and they allow you to make a comment toward one of the speakers that they would, of course, get a chance to respond to. Caveat on that, if you'd be your friendly, regular, kind selves, that helps a lot. If your super chat is vile or abusive toward one of the speakers, I may edit it. Or if it's uneditable, if there's no way I can redeem it by changing something like mofo to silly goose, I may just not read it. So just want to let you know, hopefully you're not too abusive. These guys are here just because they love to debate. We're going to take it easy on them. Okay, so with that, we hadn't decided who would go first. Do either of you have a preference? Sorry about that.
Doesn't matter.
No me importa.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, given that Pleasant Connor is on the left, Pleasant Connor will let you get the ball rolling. We'll go left to right. And so I've got the timer set, and this is flexible. So if you need a little bit more than 10 minutes, we can do that. And the floor is all yours.
All right. Well, I got to start off by saying, no, bring them abusive comments on, just But, I've mostly debates in person, mostly on politics, stuff like that. Not really a big flat earth debater, but my field of study is mechanical engineering, and some of his debates, Plain Truth, has asked some questions that relate to what I'm studying right now. So I figured, good opportunity to maybe get some answers in there. And we previously had a discussion, so I have a couple things I wanted to talk about here. So I looked into the Coriolis effect, stuff like that. You had some talking points about that, so we can get back to that. And we were talking about the moon and the reflection from the lasers off of the moon that you can, that, you know, the evil NASA put up there, whatever. NASA, if you're listening, give me that paycheck. I'm in. And that's about it, I think. I'm just taking the position of I disagree, so I don't really have much to say.
You bet. Thanks so much. Now we'll kick it over to Plain Truth. How do you like them apples, Plain Truth? I've got the timer set for your opening statement.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna play my
Plain Truth. Have you got yourself on mute?
I do. Yeah.
Plain Truth.
I know.
In your camera, you look like
I
you're
know
standing.
where it is, James. I know. I just forgot that I was laughing again at how brief Connor's opening was. I'm just like, really? A minute? Okay, so
Ooh, sassy.
No. I just it's gonna leave everything to the discussion because I don't have any claims to deal with. So I do have my typical opening video. If I can play that, I'm gonna have to share my screen maybe, or no?
Yes, you can definitely share your screen.
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna open that up in my player, and then I have to then go over and share my screen. All right, share. You got that?
Yes, I do.
And volume. Okay. And this is going to be about 10 minutes, okay?
You got it.
There we go. It is insane. It is insanity to believe that we live in the world with which we've been presented. That world has no clothes, and if you are enamored with the impossibility of the garb of pseudoscience, you are simply mad as a hatter. That
Just to be sure we're on the same
is
page, there's no
stark-raving.
sound, is there? That's all right.
It is insane. It is insanity to believe that we live in the world with which we've been presented. That world has no clothes, and if you are enamored with the impossibility of the garb of pseudoscience, you are simply mad as a hatter. That world is stark raving bare naked, and the smallest child knows this. He's the one with the accusing finger and shrill voice overlaying the dumbed down masses. While they stupidly ejaculate adulations for mind-screwing pseudoscience La La Land, shout out to SE Montreal, pretender clothes, praise R, hail G, long live the vacuum. This tiny tot of a voice of reason, sanity, common sense, and bravado decries the helio-nonsensical model has no clothes. The pseudoscientist is naked. My friends, the world in which we live is the world we've never known. In our world, science proves things. In our world, level means horizontal from shore to shore. In our world, down is down and up is up. In our world, straight lines ne'er a curve make. In our world, angular momentum has only one effect, outward. In our world, rivers do not run uphill. In our world, Coriolis is merely an apparent effect and the result of roundabouts. In our world, empirical observations, testable suppositions are provable. In our world, perspective trumps math. In our world, refraction distorts what lies before. In our world, it is a fallacy to assert that shifts disappear from the bottom up due to curvature. What is it that causes objects viewed over distance, either aquatic or terrestrial, to look as though said objects are obscured from the bottom up as a result of going over the curve? Is that the only explanation offered for a variety of subjects viewed, or
Are there additional effects, or are there alternative explanations? It is commonplace anymore to hear or even say, "I've watched ships go over the curvature of the Earth." In fact, it is said, legend has it, Aristotle himself claimed to see ships go over the horizon, or the curve of the Earth. Is this verifiable? Is this second-hand information? How large was this ship? What was the great rhetorician's viewer height? Was he aided by an artificial oculus? Hear this now and never forget it. No human with the unaided eye is able to view with any semblance of acuity a maritime vessel going over the curve. No eye has that kind of resolution. At a certain point in the distance, the perception of the hull and the water becomes blurred and irresolvable with the naked eye. Not only this, but any aid to see farther into the distance will run into the same irresolvable fact. We cannot see as far or as clearly as we might think. But what we do see is right there in front of our eyes. This opening statement will present an alternative explanation to the ubiquitous claim summed up by the alleged astronomer Michelle Thaller.
There are so many proofs that the Earth is round, it's difficult to know where to start. And it's not okay to think that the Earth is flat. This is not a viable argument. One of the things you can see yourself with a pair of binoculars is if you actually go out to a lake and there are boats on that lake, the farther away a boat is, the more the bottom of the boat will disappear and you'll basically just see the mast of the boat. And as a boat goes farther and farther away, the last thing you will see is the very top of the mast of that boat. And that's because the boat is actually going over the horizon that's curved. And that means that as it goes farther and farther away, you see less and less of the bottom of it and more of the top of that. You can see that with binoculars, by an ocean, by a lake. It's really easy. That wouldn't happen if the Earth were flat.
But is there an alternative explanation? I will present an argument with evidence that there is. But first, a preliminary question. If we are engaged in scientific discovery, I have a question for all of the boats over the curve proponents. What alternative explanations were eliminated, that is, tested, in order to arrive at the singular conclusion that boats sailing into the distance, disappearing from the bottom up, do so because they are indeed crossing a physical threshold? I call this the bottom-up fallacy. In my over 18 months of collecting observations of birds, houses, lighthouses, boats, islands, and oil platforms, I can honestly report that I have never observed an object disappearing from the bottom up, let alone going over a curve. What I have observed and presented in my channel's numerous videos is whole objects being distorted, and that with a gradient variation. A gradient variation is the distortion of the observation occurring either in stasis or motion concurrent with its entrance into what I have called the aether band. Everybody drink. The aether band simply refers to the medium through which the observation is being made. Band refers to that micro or macro field of view in which the observation is. For instance, with the Channel Islands, an observation either of the entire archipelago can be made, or one can narrow it down to the natural 40-foot arch or the lighthouse. Aether simply refers to the air and all that constitutes its nature. For example, but not limited to, evaporation, condensation, wind, temperature, air pressure, humidity. Since the aether band is ubiquitous, its gradient is three-dimensional. And the only two variables controlled by the observer are height and distance. It is these two variables which determine how much and when the object will begin to be distorted. It is the aether band alone which determines why the object is distorted. The bottom-up fallacy basically begs the question, that the object is disappearing from the bottom up due to physical obstruction. So, it is alleged, we see boats go over the curve and disappear from the bottom up. Therefore, if boats disappear from the bottom up, they are going over the curve of the Earth's horizon. Or, therefore part 2, since the Earth is curved, boats will eventually sail, not off the edge, but across the threshold of the horizon and disappear from the bottom up. My alternative explanation for the bottom up fallacy is this. Objects moving into the distance are distorted or obscured by the manifold and diverse effects of the aether band. These effects are all related to refraction and find their expressions at times in the broad category of mirage. For example, inferior, superior, fata morgana, fata vermosa, heat haze, whatever the hell happens out there. It is very simple. You are simply looking into the distance. And what prevents your being able to see farther into the distance is and only and ever will be due to the aether band. Everybody drink.
As a flat earther, I see an oil platform. But if you're a globehead religious zealot, it's not an oil platform. It's a slightly looming, non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of an oil platform from behind the reified edge of an Earth curve based on R value, and a begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator to turn an oil platform that you and I see into an oil platform that's not really there.
You bet. Thank you very much for that, Travis. I will now pull you out of full screen and switch over to the discussion boxes. So thanks so much for your opening statement. We'll go to the open conversation at this point. So thanks so much, gentlemen, for being here. The floor is all yours.
So I'll just jump in and say my opening was so short because I didn't want to start saying things that we talked about before because the connection was so bad. I wasn't sure I completely understood everything you were saying. So I didn't want to start saying things that we talked about, and then you say, well, that's not what I meant by any of that. So I just kind of kept it limited to
that's okay. I mean, technically, the opening statement is for you to state your position. So that would have been fine for you to express everything that you felt that you could have communicated from your vantage point, anything that you want to talk about. So, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of stuff that I can present. I can do, evidence that that supports my claim. However you want to go about this, if you want to start off from your
sure. We'll start. So, one thing I wanted to ask was the last time you had mentioned I needed to prove refraction occurred. So does that mean your position is that refraction doesn't occur at all?
No, that's not my position at all. So I'm not really, I don't know the context for why I would say prove refraction occurs. So maybe we can just start having the conversation, and if something comes up, usually I try to hold you to your claims, as I would expect that you would hold me to mine. If I make a claim and you would like me to validate that claim, I think that it's appropriate for you to do so. So, yeah, I do affirm that refraction is a thing, and the issue that I take with the whole discussion is that, and I think I said this, I can't remember, it was recently, if it was on another stream. Anyway, what I said was, if you want to keep all of your mainstream narrative in terms of what mainstream science understands refraction to be, keep all of that if you want. Keep everything that you think is appropriate to describe what happens in refraction. My argument is that it is refraction alone that creates the effect that has been interpreted as boats going over a curve.
Okay, so we might as well start with your arguments then, because that's led to you saying that you've made a claim now, so I guess we can go ahead and start with that.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to go back to sharing my screen.
Yep.
Okay? So, if I can go back and how do I get rid of this window? There we go, I think. All right, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is just, I tried to put some things up. I'm going to put that on mute because I don't need that anymore. I'm going to skip ahead till I get to my video. Okay, so one of the things that I base my my claims on is when I started to use my camera and go out to see what I can see, I didn't have any expectations. I did not know what I was going to find, and so everything was new for me. So what we have right here is just an early morning image of the Chesapeake Bay. This image is 5.8 miles away, give or take, and the image that my mouse is hovering over is an Airbnb that you can rent for, I think, $4.50 a night. The thing is pretty majestic, though. It's really nice. It's got like 3 levels, but anyway, if you were to just simply see this image, I doubt that you would say, oh yeah, that's a house. That's a 3-story house, and you can see the ground and whatnot. So what we have here is the horizon, right? We have the place where the water ends. My question would be, in your mind, Connor, what's creating this water line?
Wait, sorry, where are you saying the water ends?
Well, visibly, the water ends right here.
Oh, I don't think that's where the water ends, because you can see the house and the reflection of the house in the water.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine for right now. I'm saying visibly. Okay, visibly.
Oh, okay, so if you're ever on the water, you can see that currents in certain places will make the water rough in some areas and crystal smooth in the others. And to be fair, the camera quality isn't god tier in the back. So it's kind of hard to tell if that's just the water ending or if it's just kind of clear and dark.
Okay, that's fine if you want to take that position in terms of critiquing the image that you're seeing right now. This is another image of that same shot from the same location. Okay, now what's going to happen right here is we have now, again, visibly, right? Visibly, we have the water ending here and the mirage and beginning here. Okay, we have reflections of the birds that are proximate to us. There are birds flying in the distance. Over here to the right, you can see this faint red ghost. When I push play, if you watch that, it's going to disappear. Okay, so what I heard you say, Connor, was that in your opinion, it seems as though you would say that the water is continuing to go into the distance. That's what's creating the reflection. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, it would appear that that's just the house reflecting off the water. It's just really hard to tell with if it's just the video like the picture quality, or if it's just like that's the horizon. It's kind of hard to differentiate what's quality and what's horizon.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So we see the house here with a little bit more clarity. What do you think that you're seeing here with the house? Like right here in this spot?
I'm going to take the assumption that that's just the house reflecting in the water, that it's directly above. I don't know. I wasn't there taking the picture, so I don't know what the scale of that, how far that is, how far that's zoomed.
Sure. But
if I were to just be looking and see that, I'd be like, okay, it's reflecting off the water.
Yeah, it's reflecting off the water. So we've got the top of the house here. We've got the second floor balcony here. We have a stairwell coming down right here. And so then in this area right here, where does the water end? Does the water go all the way up to the house?
Let me try to count the 3 pixels, and I really can't tell. Like the reflection and the house look almost identical in the reflection.
Right. But if we're going to go along with physics, if you have a reflection, is it your position that you would have to say that the water goes all the way up to the base of the house in order to reflect the base of the house?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll grant you that. Yeah.
So it's your position that this house is built right on the shoreline in the water.
Sure. From what I can see.
Okay. So let's go back over here to the left. This image right here, this faint little red image, is going to be ghostly in and out, and then it's going to disappear. I know that I'm wobbling around and whatnot. I'm fiddling around with this, but my point is that in a moment, that red image is gone. Okay, that red image is going to be in the next scene. Depending on, I'm going to skip ahead real quick just because. All right, here's another image. This one's a little bit crisper, a little bit brighter. If I was able to take the whole time, I could show you different levels of the water line. Okay, so now here, come in on the house, and we can clearly see the shoreline. This is the same setup that I had before. There's that red roof pavilion, that ghost of an image that we saw before. So in this image, I'm going to back up to where we start. I'm going to zoom in real quick right here. I'm going to stop right here, okay? Again, I set up in the same place every single time. I have this antenna right here that I can frame my shot. That way I know that I'm getting, on a low refraction day, I can fit the red roof pavilion, the red roof house, and this antenna in the frame. So when I started this clip of this was hardly distinguishable. You couldn't tell what it was. In the next one, you couldn't see the shoreline. Right here we have direct line of sight down to the shore. Direct line of sight. So this is an observation where I saw at the beginning something that I didn't know how to interpret. What am I seeing right here? Right? So I have reflection here. That reflection, it seems to go all the way. I hope these guys have insurance because they're flooded. They are flooded. And I also had to change my perspective on this interpretation because I started with the interpretation that you did, Connor. That is that this reflection is a reflection from the water. I don't believe that's the case. I make that case numerous times in my videos. This is a mirage. This is the inferior mirage. And the reflection is not on the water. It is in the air. This is an effect of the Aether band, which is the field of view that we are looking through right now. It's a 3D field of view, height, breadth, and distance, 3D. And in order for this mirage to work, it has to be up in the air, because otherwise, if we were going to argue for the physicality of the water creating a mirror, again, this house would be underwater. And
so, really quick, there, can you just shoot back to the next image?
You mean shoot forward?
Yeah, to the.
Or you want
to the point where you can see that pole again.
Hold on. Okay.
Yeah. So without my PC, I can't really pixel measure that. Without, it seems like you could see significantly more pole there. Okay, so what? 1246. I'll write that down.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull up some stills because I have images that I have put together in contrast, where I can show. This is
it just when you mentioned the pole, it really like that pole looks significantly longer.
Right, that's an effect of the Aether band. I have it where it's squiggly. It's not straight. It's larger. It's smaller. So it affects the entire field of view.
Okay.
So to begin with, that's an example of how I had to look at what I was capturing and process what it is I was seeing. So
I don't think anybody disagrees with the statement that the thing you're looking through will affect what things look like. Like Yeah, everybody's done the thing where you
Right,
put
that's
the
not my claim.
pencil in the water.
Yeah, that's not my claim. My claim is that the... Here, I'll just pull this up. Yeah, 'cause it's random. My claim is that the inferior mirage, you can see it here to the right, here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have sky. You have topography. This is 12 miles away. All right, so then you have this darker topography. You know, if you weren't aware of what you were looking at, is this topography down here? Is this the ground right here? What is this band right here that's stretching across? Okay, so this is the sky being mirrored down here. This is an inferior mirage. The mirage is creating this apparent line in the water, right? We see water, 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 no more water. Where'd the water go? So this line is created by the mirage. So my claim is not that refraction will distort these two trees right here. See these two trees? They're right here. These are more distorted than this. My claim is not that these two trees are going to be distorted by refraction. My claim is that this water that you can see right here going all the way to the shoreline right here is behind this mirage. It's still physically there. So this horizon is created by the mirage.
Like I said, like I can call almost no information from that picture on the right because there's like the front little part is great, but it almost looks like that's like 10 feet away from you. I can't
exactly
discern anything about
Very
it.
Very good, yeah.
No, but that's not good. So if I handed if I handed in a project at school and they couldn't discern anything about what I gave to them, they'd look at me and say, "Fuck you, you fail. I don't know what the fuck you're showing me."
Well, that's why we're having a conversation right now. So I'm showing you and I'm telling you what you're seeing. Okay, so.
But by the same logic, I just told them, well, this is what I meant. They're not going to say,
okay,
oh, that's all good.
Yeah, this
right?
isn't a class presentation. Okay, so.
No, but we are looking for the correct answer.
Well, the answer is not going to be easy for you to swallow right away, okay? I didn't come to these conclusions the first time I saw this information. I just want you to simply hear what I'm saying and then take it into consideration, okay? So I'm giving you example after example. Here's another example here on the Chesapeake Bay. This is 3 miles away. This is a vintage historic lighthouse on a man-made island that's now a preserve. But there are boaters that go out here all the time, okay? Again, we have water going into the distance. The water visibly ends. My question is, what creates this line? What is it that is creating this line? Just keep that in the back of your mind. We have a channel marker right here. We have topography right here. And then we have distance with this lighthouse, okay? I'm just going to let this play for a second. We've got a boat here. This is a boat, okay? What are we looking at? Is this the entire physical boat here? Is this bottom right here? Is this the hull? Is that the hull? You know, what are we looking at? Just keep those in the back of your mind as we're looking through this information. Give me a second. Okay, this boat's going to be coming over into the same area to give a different contrast. Okay, hold on. I thought I made smaller clips. Oh, I know. I remember what this one was. I was following a boat and it didn't show up, and that was a really interesting capture. Okay, here we go. Sorry about this. I had this totally planned out, I promise. Anyway, I can pull up some other ones. Yeah, I mean, I totally get your hesitancy to jump on board. So, you know, we can continue to discuss this if you want in terms of different things I can show you. What would you like to do?
So I was waiting for you to finish your point because
I know. It just was. I thought that my clip was shorter. I had previously
plans fall apart as they always do. But
yeah.
So I was going to say we're about halfway, so we're gonna switch to my some of my questions I had about
go ahead.
The stuff we talked about. So so refraction is a thing. So if you are in certain places on a flat Earth, why can two people on opposite ends of a flat Earth see two stars, but they can't see a star in the middle of the distance between them? So I'm trying. The star. God.
Polaris?
Yes, that is the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
So one is distinctly above one person, and the other is all the way on the other side. But Polaris is in the center. You should be able to see the closer one to you.
Okay. Well, right now you're just describing an abstraction. Where you're describing an idea. That is, I'm standing in one place, you're standing in another. We look up and we see stars in our proximity, and depending on their circuit where they are at, we're going to see different stars. I don't think that that's any different than saying, I mean, you might as well say this, right? I think I'm on the East Coast. I'm just going to put you on the West Coast, okay? And at 9 o'clock in the morning, the sun is at a 40-degree angle for me. But you're in California, and the sun hasn't come into view for you. Why can't you see it? That's the same question.
Well, it'd more be like, I am in the West Coast, James is in Central America, and you're in the East Coast. I can see it at 40 degrees. James can see it. James can't see it, and you can see it on the East Coast because there's something in the center that you can't see, but you can see the two extremes.
I don't see this as any different than what I just said. So again, you're asking why can we not all see it?
When there's something that's further away that you can see. Yes.
Okay, you just said when there's something farther away that you can see. What is that thing?
Correct.
Okay, I'm
a
asking.
Different star. I could pull up the image really quickly.
Yeah, that would be helpful. That would be helpful because.
Okay, so then I could. While I'm pulling it up, I'll ask something else. So we were talking about the moon. I don't know if you want to stick to your
you do
previous.
Take us where you want us to go. I was blowing chunks on my video.
Yeah, so I set up my telescope a couple of years ago, and my friend came by and was like, "Oh man, have you tried that to reflect using the laser setup to reflect off of the moon?" So I was like, "Oh shit, that sounds pretty cool." So I went and I bought the little setup and spent a couple of days setting it up and aimed it at the point you're supposed to aim it at, and got a reading back of the laser reflecting off. So I'm curious how a solid thing isn't going to fall that's also reflecting light. So it either has to be something has to be there to reflect the light back, but if something is there, then it has to be falling due to gravity. So I'm curious about that. We kind of talked about it before.
Yeah, but that's your curiosity for the presuppositions that you have. I don't know what the moon is. I don't know that it's a physical chunk of mass. I don't know that it has weight, right? So those are claims that or questions that you might have, but I don't have them. So
it seems like an important question.
Well, if it reflects reality.
Things with weight fall due to gravity. If the moon has weight, it should fall.
Does it have weight? How do you know?
Things with mass have weight.
Great. How do you know it has mass?
Physical things that interact with the world have mass.
How do you know it's a physical thing?
Because it interacted with the laser I shot at it.
Okay. That's a conclusion that you might be able to draw, but did you believe that it was physical before you shot the laser at it?
Yeah.
So then
really
shooting right? No, it does, because shooting the laser at it then doesn't have anything to do with your claim that it's physical. Okay, so you thought it was physical prior to the fact that you shot the laser at it. Simply
Correct.
simply because then you shot the laser at it.
But it wasn't a scientific study that was presented in front of a board of directors that questioned my theory. It was a redemonstration of the same process. That's already gone through the thesis presentation. That theory's already gone through the scientific method. I'm simply redoing it. I don't need to reprove it every time.
Okay. Yeah. I still don't see that simply because you aim a light toward the general direction of the moon and that you got a registered return, that it proves that the moon is a physical object that has mass and weight to it.
Well, it necessarily is interacting with a real thing, correct? I think we can agree on that.
What is necessarily interacting with a real thing?
I am shooting light at it. Light is real, and light is interacting by coming back at me.
Okay.
So that's an interaction.
Okay.
So usually things don't interact with nothing. So it has to be.
I didn't
something.
say that it was. Yeah, I didn't say that it was nothing.
Okay.
So
The only something that we know that doesn't have mass is light. But light doesn't bounce off light. So it's either like a massless object that reflects light, which we know nothing about, and would kind of break everything.
we don't know
or
anything
we
about
just
light.
say, well, we do.
I thought you just said we don't know nothing about it. So what were you talking about when you said
What?
that? You just said
Yes.
which we know nothing about. And I'm just asking for clarification because I don't want to.
We don't know anything about things with no mass that reflect light.
Okay, so there might be something out there about which we don't know, which is what our claim as flat earthers are about the sun and the moon and the stars. We don't know what they are, okay? If we go back to the ancient texts and the ancient cultures, they simply called them luminaries. They were lights. That's it. That's all they knew. They weren't making any other claims than that, unless you have something that you can pull up from, a source that you want to cite that says that the Upanishads believed that the stars were farts from fairies out and whatever. Okay. My point is is that from our perspective, I don't know what those are except for the fact that they produce light.
Okay, so I'd take the same position that I'd take with a god. Well, why would I choose something that...
This is a red herring.
No, I'm saying I'm going to take a similar position. I'm not saying this is the same. I'm saying I'm taking the same position. So that, why would I believe some imaginary thing that would break the entirety of physics when I could just say it has mass?
It doesn't break the entirety of physics. If you don't understand a certain aspect of physics, it's outside of your epistemology.
And we would have to rework the system. Yes.
Okay, simply because you have worked your system to model out something you think to be true, you could be incorrect.
We could be.
Yeah, that's right. But be incorrect.
We could be incorrect, and there's a unicorn in my room. I just can't see it.
Right, but
I don't work off a system where
listen.
It could be.
Okay.
I work off a system I can measure something. Therefore, yeah, I guess I'll accept that because I can measure something. I shoot light at moon reflects back. Okay, I've checked something. Okay, it seems pretty reasonable that it's not some unknown thing that we've never even encountered. I'm just going to say that I see it reflects light back, probably has mass.
Okay, that's fine. If you want to make that assertion, that's fine. My only response is you cannot verify outside of simply having a registered return on your laser. If you want to attribute that
by
to...
that logic, I'm getting light registered back at me. Every photo you take is just light registering in a camera, so that doesn't verify anything either. Because that's all the picture is light registering in a camera. So you're getting a reading from light registering in a camera. I fail to see the distinction. That yours has pictures after? I don't know what the distinction would be there.
Well, it's not just simply... It's an image. So if I see something with my eye, right? If I see an image with my eye, and then I reduplicate that or reproduce that in a photograph, that's just simply reproducing what I've seen with my eye. So I can confirm, yes, that's what I saw with my eye. Yep. Okay. I'm not sure where we're going with this.
Well, so you use that as evidence for your position of a flat Earth, but I can't use the telescope reflecting light back and register
No,
on
it
my
depends
system
on the. Listen, it
to
depends.
prove
Listen,
the moon has mass.
it depends on the claim that you're making, right? I can demonstrate, and someone can come to my location and see what I see. I can reproduce those images, show you that I have line of sight all the way to the shoreline in one image, show you another image where that line of sight is now diminished or even completely blocked, right? Okay, and I can draw conclusions from those things. That's all.
So anybody can come up to my place, have a couple beers, and we can shoot the laser at the moon anytime,
Sure. Yeah.
and the same statement applies. So,
Yeah, right, sure.
I'm failing to distinguish why one is an acceptable reasoning to accept a worldview, but the other isn't.
It depends on the claim that's being made, okay? And I think that we said this in the conversation that I had with you. I said, okay, I'm just going to have to take your word for it because I haven't ever shot a laser at the moon, okay? So I'm going to take your word for it. I just don't think that your conclusion is correct simply because you've shot a laser at it.
Well, usually you take the conclusion with the least amount of claims. So my claim is that it's something that we know exists already, things with mass that are there. Yours is that it's something that has no mass, which we know exists, but it also reflects light, which we don't know exists, something without mass that reflects light.
I don't know that it reflects light.
It seems like that's well, I shot light at it and it reflected back.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure. Don't be smarmy. I thought you were talking about the sunlight.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
not only that, but this is what I said in our conversation. It's possible that you, in one of the stratospheres that's up there, in one of the spheres, those layers of atmosphere that they attribute to our environment, it's possible that the laser simply reflected off of one of those.
I actually have something on this. Oh yeah, so you can do the same experiment when the moon is directly above you, and that sphere around there isn't a sphere that would do that to a light that is perpendicular to it, because it'll just pass right through because it's perpendicular. So the experiment still holds true.
It'll pass right through what?
Whatever sphere you're proposing around the Earth.
I'm not proposing anything except for the fact that you're
proposing an explanation, whatever it may be. So you're saying that there's a layer of the atmosphere that could reflect that light back, but if you shoot it directly 90 degrees straight up, it's not going to do that.
How do you know?
Because that's how optical physics works.
Again, you're making claims about something that you cannot verify. You can't go up there and verify what your conclusion is. You can.
Well, no, I can. If I shoot that laser at the same angle when the moon isn't there, it's not going to reflect back at me.
Have you done that?
Yes, I missed the first time. I actually missed the first many times because I hadn't used it before.
Okay.
So additionally, it's only one very small point on the moon. If you shoot it at any other part of the moon, it's not going to reflect back at you. It's one very specific point that you have to program in and say, hit these coordinates.
Again, I'm just trying to understand. So what you're telling me is that you took basically a BB gun and you aimed it at a bullseye 238,000 miles away.
No. I downloaded a program from the internet and put it into a programmable telescope.
Oh, okay.
That goes in the XYZ and rotational axes, and it put it at the right spot.
Okay. So you've got an electronic computer that you have to enter data into, and then you're trusting that is giving you an accurate register on the return.
The program only affects the motor to turn the telescope. Like it's not a very complicated program.
Okay.
I could have written it myself.
Okay.
All it does is, because the laser is a separate attachment. So if you shoot it, if you just hand aim it, you're not going to get a reading even if you're pointing it at the moon. So I'm curious what why there's only one very specific point on the moon that reflects light back, whereas none of the other moon does.
That's where I'm a little bit incredulous, and I don't want to harp on this point. I find it very difficult to believe that you can take a BB-sized pinpoint of a laser. What was the millimeter measurement of the laser?
Pull it up here. You can keep. I'm just gonna type in.
No, I don't have anything to say right now. I don't want to.
Okay, well, I'll pull it up during the Q&A because I don't want to just sit here in silence. You know?
Okay. So again, the fact that you're telling me that you have to hit a particular place on the moon that's 238,000 miles away, I find it very difficult that you can take. Listen, when I zoom in with my camera on something 3 miles away, it is very difficult to keep that lined up accurately. I mean, it's very, very difficult. So it's just to me a point of incredulity that you are actually hitting an X marks the spot on the moon.
Well, that's because you're aiming it with your arm. Like, it's trying to hold something perfectly still is very difficult because we're people. We move a little bit. Like, just you shake a little bit, but this is a motor.
Yeah.
It locks into position.
Yeah.
And just goes in the one direction and stays.
So I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious. Then, how does the laser account for the refraction that's in the atmosphere as it's exiting our world and traveling 238,000 miles? How does it account for? No, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Does it account for the refraction? Do you have to aim it off center so that it bends back the way it's supposed to go?
I have no idea because I put a thingy into my thingy and the code works.
Right. Yeah. I'm not really going to go down this road.
So again, if you shot it straight up at 90 degrees, refraction wouldn't occur because you're perpendicular to the refraction.
No, refraction is three dimensional. It's everywhere. Refraction's not going to be not above your head.
If you shoot it perpendicular, the angle that it comes at it from will not reflect it to the side. If you shoot it like this, then yeah, it's going to come like this, but it's just going to go up.
Where's your proof?
How refraction works. You can look up any test that refers to refraction due to lasers.
Okay.
Or refraction's effect on lasers.
Okay. Again, so you're making a claim that if you shoot a laser straight up in the air, that it's not going to deviate in any direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you can produce something that I can look up and see that to verify that'd be great.
So you just type in refraction at 90 degrees, and the first thing, why does refraction not affect things at 90 degrees? Videos, images, pages,
this is not my claim. This is your claim. So I told you.
What would you like? Would you like?
I just told you. I told you that. Listen, when we were on the phone, I said if you make a claim, I'm going to ask you for your evidence. So I'm just asking you for it.
Yeah, I'm giving you options.
I don't. No.
A video, scientific paper. Okay. What do you?
We can move on from here. So you've shot a laser at the moon. You get a registered return, and that means the Earth is a ball.
That's not what it said. These are separate claims that you move towards one conclusion with.
Okay, so how is it that you move from shooting a laser at the moon to the Earth as a ball?
So if the moon reflects something back at a very specific point, a very logical conclusion is that it is something we know exists that reflects light, which is something with mass.
Again, you're talking about the moon. How does this relate to what we consider the reality of the Earth to be?
So yeah, a moon with mass would fall due to gravity on a flat Earth, but on a non-flat Earth, it wouldn't. It's not necessarily a proof of a spherical Earth. It is a disproof of a flat Earth.
Okay, listen. Your argument, Connor, has to do with the nature of the moon, not the Earth.
Because it's a statement about the flat Earth, not about a statement about the spherical Earth. If you want proof about a spherical Earth, we could talk about how stars rotate differently in different hemispheres.
This is your ball of wax. We can go down whatever rabbit hole you want to go down.
All right, well, let's talk about that. How stars rotate differently in different hemispheres.
Got about 5 to 10 minutes before Q&A. probably just enough time.
Sweet.
All right, so you've made these observations yourself?
Yeah, because I've been in the southern hemisphere before.
Okay. So tell me about it. What do you want to let me know?
So, depending on the hemisphere you're in, stars will rotate in one or the other direction.
Okay. So
And you can see the same constellations if you're on either side of the equator. So if you're on one side, you're going to see the same constellation rotating one way. If you're on the other, you're going to see it rotating the other.
Okay.
So I'm curious about how that works in any other way other than a sphere.
Well, again, this is one of those things that I have not gone farther south than Lima, Peru, and when I was there, I didn't do any observations of the skies. So this is outside of my experience. So all I'm going to do is be able to interact with you in terms of thoughts. So what direction were you facing?
Do you like face? I was up towards the sky. I don't understand. Like, what do you mean direction?
How do you know?
Like north south?
There are 4 cardinal directions.
Yes. Okay. You mean north and south?
What about east and west?
I assume that if I say the 2, you kind of know that I mean the 4.
Listen, I'm not assuming anything, buddy. I'm asking you a question. Which direction you're facing? So is it north or south?
So when I'm normally, when I'm at
I
home,
don't want
I
to
just
know
figured-
normally. You're talking about where you were in
So
in South
when I am
America.
in the northern hemisphere, I normally look.
I don't
any
want to know
directions.
about the normal. I'm asking you about when you were
Well, it's
in the
important
south.
what I'm doing in the northern hemisphere.
You're telling me that you went south, correct?
Correct. So I have to start with what I always do and then say this is the abnormality.
Okay, listen. This is a non-answer.
Okay,
You
so
said-
in the
hold
south,
on,
I look south.
Hold on, I'm just going to pick this apart, okay?
Sure.
You said that you were below the equator, correct?
Mhm. Yep.
I said, what direction were you facing? And then you take me north of the equator. You're not north of the equator. I'm asking you about what you were doing south.
Okay, south. I looked. I don't even remember what direction this was. Like.
Okay,
6
then I'm not
years
even
ago.
going down this road if you don't even know what fucking direction you were facing, dude. Come on, man.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? You can't even answer my question.
It turns a direction.
You can't even answer the question I just asked you about what direction you were facing. You're hemming and hawing.
What direction were you looking at 6 years ago?
Okay, listen.
What was the
this
information
is
when you
your
took all?
argument.
Yeah, I know, but so
You
I don't
have no
add-
argument right now. You can't even remember the details. Well, I think I saw the perpetrator, Your Honor. I think he might have been
Okay,
male,
so can
but
I,
he
interject?
could have
So-
been female. I'm not
Okay.
really sure.
So when you presented me your photos, I don't say, well, what was the refractive index and the temperature?
That's not
No,
my
because-
fault. Listen, if we were in
because
a
I'm not going to
courtroom,
hold you to that extreme standard of.
That's
Well,
not
why didn't
my
you take
fault.
this exact number at this exact time?
That's not my
Okay.
fault.
So then, would you like to hold me to that standard? Because I will hold you to the same standard.
You can do whatever you like, Connor. You simply made a claim. I'm asking you questions so that I can understand your claim. You can't even answer them right now.
All right, then I'll hold you to the same claim for your
Awesome.
photos that you present. So,
Awesome.
what was any of the refractive indexes that you when you took your photos?
I don't have the refractive indexes.
And likewise, I don't have the direction. I
I'm
looked
not
6 years
making a claim about the refractive indexes, Connor. You can't. You
ago.
can't.
Oh, no. You said that refraction is the cause.
The
So you are
cause-
making a claim about refraction.
I hope everybody can hear this guy. Connor, I'm not making a claim
Mhm.
about refractive indexes.
Refractive index is the index of refraction.
I'm not.
You are talking about refraction.
I'm not talking about the measurement. I've never mentioned refractive indexes in terms of their measurements.
But you've mentioned refraction.
That's right.
Refractive index is a part of refraction.
Depends on the claim that you're making. And you don't have to whisper into my ear. It gave me the goosebumps and I don't like that. Don't
was
ASMR, don't ASMR me, okay?
But you know you liked it. So.
No, please do not go down that road.
Oh, well, it's unfortunate.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe a couple more minutes until Q&A, and then we've got some questions. So thanks, gentlemen. If you guys have any sort of like concluding thoughts, got maybe about 5 minutes or so for the 60 minutes of open discussion. So 5 minutes left.
I started, so
You got it.
I don't know who wants to close last.
Well, I mean, the way that I'm just going to reiterate my claim. My claim is not that refraction happens. My claim is that it is refraction alone that is the cause of what has been interpreted to be boats obscured by the curvature of the Earth. And I can produce image after image, picture after picture of that phenomenon. So, you know.
So likewise, my claim isn't that I was looking a direction. It was that stars turn in the sky. I'm just asking for, details about the cases, just like you're asking about details about the case. So I don't know why you're holding me to a different standard, I guess, would be the question.
Look, I was just trying to understand your orientation. You said that you made observations about the sky south of the equator.
Mm-hmm.
All I asked you was what direction you're facing. I'm not really sure why this got derailed so crazily. Yeah,
I mean, all I said was I don't remember the exact, and then you said, okay, well then let's move on.
Right.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change the case that
you have no substance.
It doesn't change the case that those observations have been made by countless other people.
Okay, I'm not going to try to go by secondhand information or hearsay. You made a claim. You don't know the detail of the particular claim that you're making. Simply because you tried to reverse the criticism on me that I don't deal with refractive indexes doesn't relate to my argument, because I'm not making a claim about refractive indexes and their measurement. That's not anywhere in my claim. My claim is simply...
But it's... Go ahead, finish.
My claim is simply that it is refraction alone that is the obstruction.
But refractive index is important to know that if the only thing that is happening is refraction, or if there's other causes that are obscuring your vision. So if you have a refractive index, you could know more about the pitch. Yes, because that's what refractive index is used for, to see how much the light is curved.
I'm not trying to measure the curvature of the light.
But I need to verify the image.
Well, then you do it.
Okay, well, tell me when you're going out, and I will find a day to come down, and I will measure it for you. But until that's the case, you're just giving me things I can't do anything with.
Okay.
Just giving me pixels on a screen that I know nothing about.
You got it. Thanks so much, gentlemen. We can now switch over to the old Q&A. So thanks so much, folks, for all of your questions. Just a couple of quick housekeeping type things. We are very excited, folks. This is always a good time. This is our first time getting to host Connor. So Connor, thanks so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. So yes, very excited. And Plain Truth, good to have you as well. So thanks so much for being here. We're going to start up with Super Chats, and then we'll get to the standard questions as well, or at least through as many as possible. So thanks for your patience as we will try to work through them quick. And first one up, thanks so much, Steven Steen, for your Super Chat, who says, James is a sassy lover. Nasty guy. He would never know that. Nasty. Steven Steen, thanks for your Super Chat, who says, Flat Earth ASMR and spoken word. Hot. Yes. So apparently Steven liked that too. Appearance is not reality. It's funny though, because that super chat came in well before you whispered that to Travis. So I'm confused by that. That like Steven coincidentally was like, oh yeah, Flat Earth ASMR hot.
God damn.
That's so weird. That's spooky. appearance is not reality. Thanks for your super chat. Who said gives grandstanding a whole new meaning? Is this one of your enemies, Plain Truth? Because I think that they were maybe they're referring to Pleasant Connor. I don't know. Who is this?
Yeah, read it over again.
They said gives grandstanding a whole new meaning.
Oh, well, that would be Pleasant Connor.
Gotcha. Next up, let's see. Steven D, thanks for your super chat, who says, congrats, Travis, on your easy win. Thumbs up. You got a fan out there, Travis. Connor says,
I've been
congrats.
defeated, you know. Fans just, you know, they paid money to say it.
Sean Hawkins, thanks for your super chat, who said, Travis, quantify the ether band or drop it, Poe.
Yeah, this is what I said before. If you want to keep all of your quantifications of what you understand refraction to be, keep them. That's fine. That's not my claim. Okay? Again, everybody out there listening, please listen. I'm not making a claim where I have to quantify the dynamics. I don't even think they can be quantified, simply because you guys can show me what you think light is doing on a diagram. Whenever, and I did it again today, whenever I ask one of you guys to show me that kind of reality, you show me a picture. You can't show me light doing what you say it's doing in the diagram. So quantify all you want. My argument is that the refraction is the obstruction, and that's easy to see. Absolutely 100%.
Can I interject really quick, James?
Yes.
So I'm curious, would it be useful to be able to come up with a method to predict what you're going to do so somebody can reproduce it?
I don't believe that predicting, and this is where I've gotten into discussions with people like yourself, Connor, and I've asked numerous people to do that, to do just that. I want you to predict, not that you think that there's going to be an inferior mirage, not that you think that there's going to be a superior mirage, not that you think whatever. I want you to predict what my image is going to look like, because whenever we get images that prove curvature from the ballers, they always look at the image itself and say, yep, that's exactly what we expect to see, which means you can predict what the refraction is going to do to my image on any given day. So if you want to try that, knock yourself out.
Yeah, I could if I had the information to go along with
well,
it.
Yep. Then we can follow up after this, and I will give you all of the information that I can from my perspective.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. And thanks so much, Philip, for your super chat, who says, the plain truth, you accept pictures with no data about the refraction as evidence for the flat earth, but you are highly skeptical of any evidence for the globe.
It's not different.
Why the double standard,
it's not a double,
soy boy?
It's not a double standard. Listen.
I added the soy boy part.
Okay.
Wow, James. Wow.
Sorry.
Thanks. Woo.
Come on.
Listen, it depends on the claim that you're making. Okay, so I've said it before. It's like you guys don't listen. It's not that I have a double standard. It depends on the claim I'm making. It depends on the claim that someone else is making.
You got it. Thanks so much. Next up, appreciate your super chat from Reverend Arrow. Thanks for your super chat. They say, question for the plain truth. Can you let Connor finish? That was during the slightly tense time, just a few moments. It was like firing up. But this has been the most peaceful dialogue, at least especially compared to last night.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw last night, so, I kind of figured, take a couple drinks, chill out, get a contrast going.
Yesterday was like, whoa.
Shots
I don't know if I've ever had a more tense one than yesterday. So let's see. Next up, thanks so much for your super chat from our dearest friend, Stringer News 1, says, Travis, can you show anything to back up your ether band claim? No, indistinct photos don't count. Where's the alleged obstruction?
Indistinct photos? What does that even mean? So, yeah, I mean, if you're serious, okay, my email is available on my channel. If you want to have a serious interaction with me, you can email me and we can talk about it. But everything's on my channel. It's obvious. You can see the obstruction, and it is due to refraction. So
I think we should start a GoFundMe so we can get some serious like camera upgrades going. So we
Okay,
can,
listen.
see.
Listen. Okay, this is what pisses me off because that comment.
I just said I should give you money.
No. That comment reveals the fact that you don't understand photography. Okay, my pictures aren't a result of the quality of my camera. Okay, the pictures capture what refraction is presenting to me. I can't unfocus a distorted image due to refraction.
So they're all cameras have the exact same focusing technology.
Okay, I'm going to say it again. If an image is distorted by refraction, I don't care what camera you have, you're going to see that image. It's going to be distorted. Your camera cannot undistort a distorted image. It's got nothing to do with focus. My images aren't blurry because I can't focus. That's not the issue.
I mean, if a camera upgrade would do nothing, then I suppose it would do nothing.
It depends on what it is you're trying to upgrade to. Do I want to see farther? Do I want... I
didn't say you couldn't get a whole rig, man. Dude, these are pretty generous fans,
okay, Okay, so...
I think James can attest to that.
Yeah. My understanding of what your comment was the quality of my images. Is that correct?
Some of them, yeah.
Okay. Those images cannot be fixed by any camera.
No picture you've ever taken could have been improved by a better camera.
Oh my god!
But that's all my statement was. I'm not saying every. Okay, yeah. Let's get to the question because we're holding James up there.
No problem. I do appreciate all of it. It's always fun to get to hear you guys chat, and I also Flat Earth, or I should say, End Flat Earth. Thanks for your super chat. They said, "quote Flat Earth is a dying fad." From Captain Obvious. That's what they say. You know what? I thought that was true. Like, I thought about, maybe not a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, I thought like, yeah, Flat Earth, probably done. But then when we brought Wotan on as Revenge of the I didn't know Flurfs was a bad word. So I made a thumbnail that said Revenge of the Flurfs, and it had, a lightsaber fight with the globe and Wotan, and just all of a sudden it was like, wow, I don't know if it is dying. What do you guys think? You can disagree with me. It's okay.
I was just reminded. So you were called out on the Discord, James. They're saying that NASA's paying people to have flat Earth debates to make it make people think that, oh wow, I don't want to be that stupid. Just so we know, James, you're getting them NASA paychecks. That's
so
why.
True.
Come on.
It's yes, good old NASA. They have deep pockets, and I was I can easily be bought. So we appreciate NASA here.
So can I.
Let's see. Stringer One News. We got that one. Sean Hawkins, thanks for your super chat. Who said burden of proof reversal fallacy, bad form. Peter, nice reference to Hook. I don't know who it was for though. Well,
yeah.
Sean Hawkins, I think he's maybe talking to you, Plain Truth.
Yeah, I would think so, but again, there's no context, so I have no idea what he's referring to.
Thank you. And stupid whore energy, as she likes to be called, nasty lady. She says James is my personal Lord and Savior, but she spells Savior weird. I don't understand this. Is this one of the cool new things that the boomers like myself?
How did she spell it?
Well, with Savior, it says just how you'd normally spell Savior, but with the U in parentheses. I don't know if she's trying to be considerate.
You, James?
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. Maybe she's trying to be considerate to people who spell Savior with a U from England, or maybe from
Canada.
Down under, maybe? I don't know.
Canada.
Yeah, that could be. That's very it's very culturally sensitive of you, Sarah. That's very sweet. Okay, next up, thanks for your question from Ed Freeze. Same Ed, who
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wants a piece of you, Plain Truth. He
The guy-
says,
We all-
okay, hold on. The guy can't even reiterate my claim. If he doesn't know my claim, I'm not dancing with him.
what? Well, he says, please ask the plain truth. When will you stop making excuses and debate me?
Oh my god! You know, if I read our exchange, I think anybody would just want to eat a gun. It's just absolutely insane.
I mean, I would be entertained by that. I don't even know who he is, but I want to see.
yeah, he can't even reiterate my claim. So if he doesn't know my claim, there's no reason to debate him.
Gotcha.
I mean, that should make it so much easier, you know.
No,
Ooh,
listen,
touche.
yeah, I think I've got 2 episodes on my channel with Ed, and the very first one should give you enough information.
It's like you're buddies, right? Secretly.
Besties.
Next up, maybe not. Observer, I noticed your question. They said, please try and set up a debate between Nathan Thompson and Kent Hovind. I agree. I honestly am going to try. I don't think Hovind will go for it, but we'll give it a shot. I know Nathan is like pumped. He honestly would love it. So, but yes, thanks so much. I totally agree. If you're a Hovind fan, feel free to just mention, be like, hey, I think this could be cool. Maybe we'll do it this summer when we're on tour, if we get to have that tour. I think we will. But Ed Freeze, thanks to your other question. They said, plain truth, do you have any actual arguments besides, quote, I don't know, and therefore the earth is flat?
You don't even know my major premise, Ed, so why would I even go down trying to give you other arguments? You don't even know my first one.
Okay, thank you very much. And Jay Asito, thanks for your question. They said, ask the flat earth fella. His name is on the border. He said, how come
Hey there,
we can
fella.
how come we can do spectral analysis of the moon? I have done it. It's a real thing.
Awesome. I'll have to take your word for it. Good on you.
Look into that. Sounds interesting.
Thanks so much. The Stoner, thanks for your question. They asked, debate question for Plain Truth. When is your after school club going to actually prove a flat earth? Everyone is tired of hearing how you don't understand, therefore it must be wrong type of argument.
Who's making the you don't understand, therefore it must be wrong? I'm not sure what he's talking about.
I think that was when we were talking about like the moon and stuff, and you were like, oh, I don't know what it is, so I can only assume.
Yeah, there's not enough in that to... but evidence, again, in my opinion, anyone who says there is no evidence for a flat earth has got to be, in the nicest way, dishonest. Okay? You might disagree with the argument, but I would have more respect for you if you were to say, Travis, I totally get it. I totally get that. Makes sense. What you're saying makes sense. Here is why I disagree. I have more respect for that than for someone who says, there's no evidence. Someone who says that, I don't even have kind words.
I think most people that say that are just being like hyperbolic, or they just don't know what evidence is. Because technically everything has evidence to support it. It's just that other things might have more.
And again, I would be more appreciative of that posture.
I mean, that's why I'm not a douchebag, because, everybody, there's a reason to believe everything. It's just whether it's a good reason or not.
Gotcha. And thanks so much for your question from, let's see here. Sean G apparently also wants a piece of you, Travis.
I know, it's awesome. I must be pushing the right buttons.
Wow.
A lot of people seem to want you playing. You're like, damn, you must be a pretty good looking man. God damn.
Yeah. They want you. They desperately want you.
That's why I didn't show my picture. I didn't want it to distract from the debate.
Yeah. Damn.
Gotcha.
Been wrecked.
Thanks so much. Let's see. Appreciate it. I think we have caught up with all the questions. So thanks so much, folks. Really excited. This is always fun. If we have any last questions, we can get them in. But do want to say it's always a pleasure. Our goal is to provide, and it's true, I sometimes tease Travis, sometimes other people, but you know, soon, now that Connor's kind of like broken in, next time I can definitely tease him.
Hey, come on,
And
James. Bring those insults in here. Come on.
that's good. He likes that.
Oh yeah, from James anytime.
So but we do try to provide, hopefully it is a fair platform, but give us, you know, let me know if you're like, hey, the moderation's not fair. It's always nice if I do actually like getting feedback on the channel. Usually I like it if it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It helps. I'm like more likely to read it if it's like starts with something polite rather than like, hey, coward, which that does happen. And I'm like, why am I the coward? Like, but I mean, if anybody, I mean, plain truth, but it's just, yeah. So I'm teasing. Plain truth. I love you, buddy.
Oh, you were talking to me?
Just teasing. Okay. Ed Freeze, thanks for your question. They said, I gave Travis all his claims on email. This is just another dodge. When will he debate me?
I love your inflection on that. That's just classic. Yeah. Again, when I ask him what my claim is and he gives me 3 points and I say no, that's not my claim. What is my claim? And he continues to repeat the same thing. He's not answering the question. So no, Ed, you don't know what my claim is.
Gotcha. Super interesting. Let's see. Stephen Smith, thanks for your question. That said, ask the plain truth. How can he can still be a flat earther after all his points have been decimated by McToon, Fight the Flat Earth, and even Connor? What is even Connor? It's like a backhanded compliment.
It's okay.
Even Connor's
it's okay. I'm better at politics, so it's okay. And I did lie before. Every claim has evidence except for like liberals, conservatives, anybody like right of liberals. No, you're all stupid.
Play truth if you want. You can answer. You don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm sure he is I'm sure he's a globe flake, so of course he thinks that all three globe flakes got the best of me.
That's funny. Totally appreciate it. So we love you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. This always gets me in such a great mood. A lot of times I'm like shot from a long day, but it fires me up. It gets me. I'm happy. I'm pleased. Thanks so much. And do want to remind you that there are links I'm going to put. Let's see. Oh, I hadn't done it already. I'm doing it right now. I am putting Plain Truth's link in the description right now as I am speaking, and I will be putting Pleasant Connor's email down there as well. So that way, if you want to reach these guys, if you want to hear more of their content, you definitely can. Highly encourage you to check them out. And Plain Truth.
I'm about to get spammed to all hell, aren't I?
Yeah, you might.
Excellent.
That's funny. So awesome, folks. Thanks so much. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys. You're off air. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, James. I appreciate it. Do you have anything lined up in terms of Sean G yet, or is that still?
Not yet, but okay. I can definitely do that for you.
Yeah, I had just said to him that the weekends are best for me, so probably Saturdays as well. Saturdays are easier.
You got it. Let me. We could probably do a double header, which would be awesome. We'd get extra peeps chilling out watching. So let me get in touch with you, and we'll definitely do that.
Sure.
Rad. Well, you guys, let me know if there's anything I can do for you. The footage of the video is all yours. We are, what's the word? Copyright free or creative content, Creative Commons. So YouTube won't bother you if you want to repost it on YouTube or whatever. So it's all yours. Let me know if you'd like me to send an MP4 as well.
No, I'm good.
No. And like I said, anytime you want to have political debates, I'm always up for that. No.
Really?
Anarcho-communist right here, boys.
I'll let you guys go.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Plain Truth.
All right, catch you
Have a good night.
Connor.
Yeah.
What was do you have any topics you...
All right, guys, so I'm just opening up a new link and maybe get SE Montreal. Storm is out there. I saw him, so you guys might be open to... Oops, that's not what I want. There it is. All right, there is the link to join Zoom, guys. So feel free to jump on in, and we'll maybe go. I don't know. We'll see what happens with our conversation. We'll see what happens. We'll maybe just go in half an hour, maybe an hour. Yeah, Addy, that might be a good idea. Maybe after he and I touch base, we'll see what happens. All right, so the link is out there, guys. If you want to join, just clickety click. Yeah, I was really I had pulled up these clips just because I wasn't sure where the discussion was going to go, so I wanted to be at least a little bit prepared. Hello, hello, hello. What ho? You're really, really low, Essie. If that's you, I can't even tell, but it sounds like you. But you're really low. Oh, that's Storm.
Mic check, mic check.
Yeah, that's it. Gotcha. You gotta have to close your watch page though, so because there's feedback. Or mute the YouTube.
No, sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot. How about that? You good?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Nice debate. Nice debate. Well done, bud.
Yeah, it was okay. You know, it was okay. I would much prefer a more strict format, but it is what it is.
I missed the first 30 minutes, so I didn't hear it all. I didn't get into it in the beginning. I was still out in the greenhouse, but
okay.
What I heard was awesome, man. You know, the thing with the Polaris spinning and and stars spinning in the opposite direction, man. All the stars rise in the east. I don't care where you're at.
I know. Well, see,
Stars rise in the east.
I know. That's why that's the road I was going to take him down.
Right.
And
but he didn't know what direction.
I'm
I don't
like,
know.
why am I going to have a conversation with you if you don't even know what direction you were facing? I mean, seriously. Well, it was like 6 years ago. So I'm like, okay, so now we were just going on faulty recollection. I am not going to go down this road. If you don't have anything substantial.
Were they spinning left to right or right to left? Okay.
Yeah, really,
if it's right to left, you were standing north. I'll just help you out here, bud.
I really, I really didn't think.
Let me help you out, buddy.
I mean, it would be interesting to go back and listen to when he was just flummoxed. He's like, I don't know how to answer your question. I'm like, what direction were you? Whatever. SE Montreal, what's going on, man? Are you?
Hey, SE.
Are you there?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. I'm here.
Hey, SE. Yeah, I mean,
How you doing,
I saw some of your notes in the chat, and I just had them in the back of my mind that if I felt like there was going to be an opportunity to go down that road with Gravity or the other thing that you brought up, but just where it was.
You did good, bro.
Well, I appreciate that. I do it really, I think, just to, it's almost like practicing tennis with an opponent that hopefully is better than you, so that you get better at argumentation. So for what
he clearly
the more you
showed
do, the
that
better
he was
he
an
gets.
amateur.
Sorry,
go
ahead. No, you go ahead, bro.
I was just saying he clearly showed he was an amateur with the start thing. He didn't even know which way he was facing, and it was easy pickings for Travis.
Did you hear the whole thing? What happened in the first part of it?
Yeah, I caught it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I had well.
What was the first part of the discussion about? How did it start?
It kind of took a while to get momentum. He tried to lead with asking questions, and I ended up making a claim, and he said, "Well, why don't we focus on that?" So then I brought up my some of my images where I was trying to show one location and show the different areas of refraction.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much the first part, and then I think probably when you came in was when we switched over to his arguments, where he went to his bouncing a laser off of the moon and getting a registered return. So I mean, we can talk about that, guys, because I'm not really sure. I mean, Essie, you heard my questions. How would you? I know that you talked about asking whether or not he's referring to Einsteinian or Newtonian gravity, but that to me isn't the issue. His issue was that you've got a physical object that's returning reflection from a laser. So how would you interact with someone who makes that claim?
Oh, the laser claim. Well, I would ask him because I think he was referring to the little plate they have there that NASA put there. Was that what? Did I understand that correctly?
He didn't use the term plate. He did refer to a specific area that he had to aim at.
Right.
And
Well,
he was referring to the little 3x3 mirrors things that they supposedly left on the moon. So that's what he's referring to. Go ahead.
Right. That's what I thought. Yeah, without actually mentioning it.
Right. But then my incredulity is I find it very, very hard that you have the ability to aim a BB at a bullseye 238,000 miles away and have it returned to you. To me,
well, remember it's moving 666 or 66,600 miles an hour. So how far do you lead your pencil beam light ahead?
Well, that's the question that I asked.
Yeah. It's how do you do that?
How was your what equatorial mount did you have your laser on? That's a good one, bro.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I didn't ask him the same question that you did, Storm, but I did say, how did you account for refraction? Because you're shooting through the atmosphere, so the light is going to refract. So
it's going to bend. Yep.
Yeah. So to me, that's the same question. You're just addressing a different nuance of the whole.
Well, if you're going to shoot a pencil beam in, which brought up, I was listening and talking with my roommate while we were listening, and my thought was how, what kind of laser are you using that can shoot a pencil beam with enough power to reflect off of a mirror and go? I mean, you're talking about 500,000 mile round trip. What's the inverse square rule to how much light would actually get back to where you could pick it up in a sensor? I find that just, that just sounds insane to me that you can shoot, I've seen Jaron where he's, you can't go 3 miles with $1,000 laser.
Yeah.
And it's 6 feet across at 3 miles. I mean, that you can't pencil beam. What kind of pencil beam are you using? And what is the, I don't know if cohesive light from a laser beam works the same way as like an incandescent light. I don't know if the same square root inverse rule applies, if so I don't know about that. But it seems to me that just watching people use these high tech lasers, and in the beginning, those one people, they were building their own lasers that would keep that pencil beam really tight over long distances. So I doubt that guy put one of those lasers on his telescope and shot it where some computer program told him to shoot it. I just find it ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when you asked him, Travis, you got him good there. When you asked him for the specifics, I just put in the thingy on the thingy and the point.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I know. Again, that's the whole equatorial mount. So you have a computer system that you're entering data into, and it simply crunches the numbers. So, in my opinion, it's the same thing with a gyrocompass. A gyrocompass, you have to enter your location, and then all it does is work out the calculation that the computer program has for those for that information. This is where you are. Well, then it knows where. It's like putting in a calculator what the square root of 124 is. Well, it's already been programmed. It knows what it is because it's been told.
Right.
So the
Another thing that just came to mind, Travis
Yeah.
and Storm, when he said that he tried it the first couple of times and he missed, and then he said on the fourth time he got it. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but when you hear the NASA boys talk about it, don't they shoot millions of singles and then one or two come back? Or three or something
millions or billions of photons
Yeah.
they say they shoot, and it gets one back and it dings.
Yeah.
like that? Yep.
Yeah.
Like that's
So how do you-
that's La La Land right there. You know?
Yeah, so how do you go to Walmart and buy something that does that off your mount? I don't know. It just, his claim was sounding pretty ridiculous. I'd never heard somebody shooting a laser from their own telescope.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
full
know.
of it.
I didn't know that was available for the public. But
Yeah, buying your own kit. I don't know if it's on Amazon or what. I can email him and ask him where he got it, and then
it's on Amazon.
he's
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
Imagine the power of that thing. You could probably shoot
Oh
a
my
plane
God,
down
yeah.
something.
You got to be
something got in
careful with
between
that.
You and the moon.
Yeah, I mean, if if you let that go below horizontal, you're going to be cutting houses in half down the block. So,
Yeah.
you don't want to aim that in the wrong spot.
Yeah, well, again, my knee jerk, my knee jerk incredulity is, and because I asked him when we were first having the conversation last week, I said, so how long was it until you got a return? Or was it immediate? Or was it a minute? Again, he had nothing definite. I'm not trying to come down on him, but again, he had no definitive information. But he said, it was a while. It was a while. Now, again,
I missed that part.
Well, no, that wasn't in this debate. I didn't get to that
okay.
point. That was
Okay.
when he and I were talking one-on-one last week. We talked on Discord for a couple of hours. But again, if you have to put in information, it doesn't seem implausible to me that they simply rig up the return as well.
I'd be interested.
Stupid in,
in
stupid
exactly
out
how
at the
long
end of
that
the day.
took. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Go-
Storm.
No, go ahead, bud.
No, I was just gonna say stupid in, stupid out. Whatever you put into the computer, it'll give you. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And again, I don't know because I've not messed with the technology. So, but that's again my presupposition is that it's bogus.
No, you don't have to be a nuclear scientist to know that coherent light, depending on how much power you have, can only reach a certain distance at that pinpoint accuracy, and then it spreads. Like Storm said, when Jaren did it, it became like the size of a football field or something. No, it was pretty wide at the end there. So
Yeah.
you don't have to be super intelligent to understand that. And at 286,000 miles away, come on, you need a pretty powerful beam if you can even do that.
Right. That's what I asked him too. I said, how many watts was this thing? You would have I would think it's like what Storm said. If you misalign that thing, you're going to be cutting things in half.
Oh, yeah, you were all over that, Travis. Yeah, you caught that for sure. Oh, the guy's an amateur. The way he was talking, he was just reading stuff like the turning of the lights and the south and the stars. I mean, he was just, weakening it.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy, though.
I don't know. He was a bit of
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah, he was a bit of a creeper.
Seems like a nice
He was
guy.
a bit of a creeper
Yeah.
for me. I would not spend time with that guy one-on-one.
He seemed a bit wise-assed in the beginning, then he chilled out a bit, but he had that kind of rumpus attitude, a little bit,
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't.
I think he got humbled a little bit, Travis. I think you humbled him a little bit. He came out of the gate shooting, and you humbled him a little bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he just thought that it was going to be an easy walk. I think he tried to throw it back at me again. The fact that I was asking him for details about his claim on the southern rotation of the stars, and then he came back at me with my my deflection of quantifying. Shout out to Yonkins, as I call him, Sean Hawkins. That you've got to quantify this thing. Again, I've said it before. SE, you and I had that conversation, and I'm still going to try to follow up with that. But even if I give you the 5 points of the data that you want, okay, so to me this is so it just makes sense. It's so crystal clear. If I show you an image and I say, look, this is what I'm showing you, that refraction is blocking the shoreline here. See this? You can't see the shoreline, but it's right there behind the mirage. Well, what's your data? What's your data? So then I give you 5 points of data. I give you temperature, I give you humidity, I give you water temperature, air temperature, I give you air pressure. After I give you those things, guess what's going to still be the same?
The picture.
The image, yeah.
Is it, okay, so what's changed? How did what I just gave you change the image?
Bro, without data in their heads, it doesn't work. Math is reality. Remember that statement?
I know, man.
If they don't have data to look at, they're lost, bro. It's like a pup without a bone, without a leash, without a leader. They're lost.
Like they even understand the data that they think that they understand. You know what I mean? It's like simply because you can break down this diagram on refraction and tell me that light is... I mean, this is what I don't get. Let's talk about this for a minute. I mean, I really don't get this. I hear this all the time. Refraction bends down toward the denser medium, bends down, but then presents the image up. That makes no sense. I don't get that.
It's typical side of your mouth, double thinking approach. You can't, it's like them trying to justify a Coriolis. It's one or the other. You can't have it both. Same thing with if light bends down, then how does it go up first and then present itself to your eye? And how about if I move my camera up 6 feet, all of a sudden refraction magically matches exactly where I put my camera or my eyes or how high I am? I mean, it's a magical construction, this refraction bending around a ball. It's magical. It's almost as if God does it.
Refraction is the new gravity. The black swan has ravaged the community. They're having nightmares of swans flying in the air.
They sure are.
So here's something that I thought about today. So if we're talking about making an observation over water and the refractive index follows a density gradient toward the more dense medium, wouldn't that require that the light go into the water?
Oh, Travis, something, whenever they say refracted index, you know what they're referring to, right?
No, go
the
ahead.
Standard
706R.
Exactly. They're presupposing. You can nail them on that right there and then. Which R are you talking about, sir? You mean the one that you presuppose already that the Earth is round, that R?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, my request is, can you show me this standard refraction? I even think that Connor made a comment about a standard or a day, maybe because I talked to Critical Think earlier today he's the Australian, and his channel is called Critical Think, and I've interacted with one of his videos. Either he made the statement or maybe Connor did tonight, and my request is simple. Show me a picture of this standard day. Like, this is a typical day. A typical day with refraction. Can you show me? Because listen, guys, I've been out.
Right. Yep.
I have no clue what a standard day of refraction is. I mean, I go out and I look out. It even happened today. I went outside. I was like in here working on shit all day long on my computer, getting stuff ready. I'm like, I've got to get outside. So I go outside and I look out and I can see the Chesapeake Bay. I can see the Red Roof House, and I'm like, man, that looks awesome. That is so crisp and beautiful. And I get down to the lighthouse, and then I look out again. I'm like, shit, I can totally, with my naked eye, see the inferior mirage. So, I mean, it's still great. It was still a crisp day. But man, there is no standard. I have no idea. The temperature thing, when you look up the information, I'm just going to do it real quick while I'm talking. When you look up the information on mirages, shit, I'm going to have to find this. Let's see, superior mirage. I think this is it here. This is
Miraging, looming, towering, sinking, stooping.
Yeah. When they talk about the interaction of the warm air, cold air, the days that I have taken notes on the warm air and the cold air, it's like less than 5 degrees. And the statements that they make on the let's just say, for instance, I cannot multitask. You guys talk for a second. I'm going to come right back. I'm handing it off to you guys for a second while I look something up.
Sure. They talk fantasy. They first of all, they presuppose there are, right? Then there are leaves behind perspective. So it's like right away you're presupposing one thing, you're leaving out another thing, and it's like, okay, where do you go from here?
What I find funny, Essie, is when on, and Travis has, thank God for all the work Travis has done, because he gives us so many hours of, watching the different variations, minute to minute, hour to hour. And so, like he said, to try and explain that as a standard, there's no way that you can give those calculations. And I don't care if you have the calculations from one side of the shore and the other side of the shore, give them all the data you want, and you paint me a picture of what I'm going to see when I actually go down there with my camera and take pictures of it throughout the day. And there is no calculation for how that changes hour to hour, minute to minute.
Right.
And there's no way they're going to be able to tell you ahead of time what your camera is going to capture.
Right.
And don't talk about what kind of camera and you need a better camera. Dude, I got the best cameras in the world. I love that one where the guy was saying we need Travis to have a better camera. Well, first off, thanks very much. I mean, I'll need $10,000 for all of the cameras I want. So yeah, you guys all send me your money for the $10,000. But I got a P1 900. What do you got, Travis? Both P900,
no,
P1000,
just
right?
The 900.
Just the 900.
Well, I have two of them. But they're both 900s.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, basically, what is it? 86 or 83 times zoom?
83.
83, man. That's
No,
the only reason we're having these conversations these days is because the technology is available to the public where we can have 83 times zoom and we can go out and get images that we couldn't, even 15 years ago. So the conversations we're having are actually fairly new conversations in relative terms of time because we're seeing so much more than anyone's ever seen in the history of man as we know it. So it's all really a new conversation and trying to discern what we see in the distance. And we've talked about it before, Travis. It's distortion, whatever you want to call it. Refraction is a blanket term for distortion in the air that we see when viewing at long distances. So however you want to, define it into whatever words to try and describe what we're seeing is cool because, really we haven't seen this far in the distance. So it's a pretty fun conversation. I've had a lot of fun actually spending time looking and digging through this images. I told you I hadn't really done it much before now, but with all of your stuff coming up and us kind of meeting and talking, I've really spent some time looking through it, and I think it's fascinating. It really is a cool subject of trying to discern what we see and how to define it, but certainly isn't curvature. We know that.
All right, so
Oh,
yeah, so let me just run through this. This is just a quick Wikipedia lookup for mirages. Okay, so an inferior mirage. An inferior mirage is one in which the mirage is located under the real object. The real object in an inferior mirage is either the blue sky or any distant object in that same direction. It causes the observer to see a bright and bluish patch on the ground. Okay, so right there, I'm sharing my screen, guys, if you want to look at my screen.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, so it's talking about this image right here. Okay, so that's not necessarily the case, a bright bluish patch on the ground. What that should say instead of bright bluish patch is it's a reflection of the sky, because that's what that is. But this reflection here is not a reflection of the sky, it's the reflection of this mountain. So you can see right here, whatever this is, if this is, let's say, a canopy, maybe, you know, somebody's got a canopy out there on the desert. You've got it inverted right here. But right here above this is this part right here above the canopy. So this, it's not a bright bluish patch. This is the dark blue of the mountain. But I've shown, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with I showed it today on the debate, the two waterscapes right next to each other. You have the landscape in the back mirrored on itself, but then you do have the sky that is mirrored as well. So it just depends on what angle you're at. So in this instance, in order for you to get the sky, either this mirage is going to have to come closer to you. It's going to have to stretch like a shadow would come out in your proximity, or you're going to have to raise your elevation. But my point is in the description of what they think is going on. So here it is. Inferior mirages are not stable. What the hell does that mean? Because I
think it means that it changes from minute to minute,
no,
and hour to
that's
hour.
absolutely false. Absolutely false.
Okay.
Absolutely. Hot air
It
rises. It can. It may. But again, so I can show you images of the platform Gina. And I can show you, let's say, 27 minutes of video. And nothing changes except for the elevation of both the horizon and the platform. SE, I'm sure you've seen it. It goes up the frame, and then it comes back down the frame. So that's not stable, but the inferior mirage itself is.
Okay, I follow you.
Okay,
Yep.
so not only that, but very often I only notice that I should probably show it just to give everybody a taste of what I'm talking about, but I only notice that the horizon is climbing up the frame of the camera if I fast forward or fast reverse. If I watch it in real time, it's so slow that you don't catch it. And it took me quite a while to actually figure out. I remember making my first video with an image with the platform Gina. I had 3 different recordings, probably about 5 to 6 minutes each, because I would stop to take pictures. So then I would turn the camera back on and record. But I would have Gina in center frame, and I would have my tripod all locked up, steady as you please. And then I would come back and look at the viewfinder, and platform Gina had fallen to the bottom of the frame. Okay, so if you know anything about angles, in order for if it was the result of my camera moving, in order for Gina to end up at the bottom, my camera would have had to raise the lens up on its own. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, So I saw that, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why do I have to adjust? So then I would adjust the camera back, put Gina back in center frame, go away, come back 5-6 minutes later, look again. She's at the bottom of the frame again. And I didn't catch on as to what that was until I went back and was reviewing the footage, and I saw the fact. I'm like, my camera isn't moving. I know that I'm going to show this, and somebody's going to say, dude, your camera lens is falling. No, if it was falling, she'd be at the top. So, anyway, all of that to challenge the fact that inferior mirages are not stable. That has no qualification. It has no meaning. What does not stable mean? It has no meaning. Hot air rises. Cooler air descends. You've been out there. You've tested this. Look, they're describing what they think is happening. So the layers will mix, giving rise to turbulence. So is this turbulence? Is this air? I mean, is this wind? Right? Because if you have hot air and cool air, doesn't that give us wind? Right? So I mean, all of these technical qualifications that they're making, to me, there's no citation here. So there's no citation that I can go and look up a study that shows me that they had people out all across this observation, that they knew what was happening. Like where I'm standing, there's no hot air and cool air going on. You know what I mean? It's 76 degrees. There's another, the Superior, I think it's the Superior Mirage. It's either the Superior Mirage or the Fata Morgana. I think it's the Fata Morgana. Let's just go down here real quick. Okay, here we go. Listen to this double speak. Nonsense. Listen to this.
Is he chopping up just for me, or you hear it too?
Are you saying that I'm breaking up for you? SE. Storm, can you hear me? Have I lost?
No, I can hear you, bud.
You're sounding okay right now.
Okay.
Yep, I hear you, bud.
Okay. All right. Fata Morgana mirages are most common in polar regions, especially over large sheets of ice with a uniform low temperature. But they can be observed almost anywhere. Okay, listen. You want me to say that again? Okay, listen. Listen to the first qualifying statement. They are most common, but they can be observed almost anywhere. That means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Double speak.
Okay, so in polar regions, Fata Morganas may be observed on cold days. How cold? Okay, but it's a polar region, so probably pretty cold. I've got Fata Morganas off of SE. You were there when I showed it for the very first time. That wasn't a cold day. It wasn't cold. In desert areas over oceans and lakes, Fata Morganas may be observed on hot days. In polar regions, in polar regions, it can happen on cold days. In other areas, it can happen on hot days.
Let me guess, Travis. In semi-tropical regions, it can happen on semi-tropical days.
Yeah, right. Basically, wherever you're at, you might be lucky to, catch it. Now, I don't see them all the time. Okay, so they aren't as frequent as a inferior, or even I don't even think. I've caught that many superior mirages. So there's a gradation here, in my opinion. Here's I'm going to say this again. In my opinion, there is only one kind of mirage, and it's an inferior. The Fata Morgana is a nuance of an inferior mirage. The superior mirage is a nuance of an inferior mirage. Because as Pete Shea says, all of the mirages are categorized in a spherical model. So they interpret what they're seeing based on the fact that they believe the Earth is round. So I'm going to scroll down here from the Georgia State University website. So whatever this image is, okay? This image right here, can you see this, guys? That boat?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. If this is an authentic image, the globe model says that this boat is down here on the other side of the curve somewhere.
Yes, it's being loomed up beyond the horizon. Correct? That's
Correct.
their assertion.
Correct. Okay. So the reality is, though, that this is an inferior mirage. I'm going to make a prediction. It's not a prediction because we can't test it, but I'm going to make a statement that if I could wipe away the mirage, you would see water all the way up to the hull of the boat. So there's water right here. There's water all along right here. So
it looks to me that there's a horizon beyond the right there where you have your cursor. That I see a line right there that I would presume is the actual. Well, when you say actual horizon, that's not really accurate. Well, the horizon, as it would appear if that mirage wasn't there.
Right, but I've seen enough of these images to where I can confidently make that declaration. And that's why I've said one of the things that makes this difficult is that an inferior mirage, this boat should be mirrored on itself. But we don't have
upside down.
Right, we don't have an inverted image on this. So that then throws the interpretation into a different direction. But
what do you say is happening here, Travis?
That would be a superior mirage, correct?
This is considered a superior mirage because this is not a physical boat according to the superior mirage. The inferior mirage, you have a physical object like this boat. Now let's just do this back up here.
Being mirrored on itself.
Okay, so in the inferior mirage,
upside down. Yes.
In the inferior mirage SE, this physical land here is miraged down here. So this is not physical land, even though it looks like the inversion of this. So you have the physical, and then you have the inverted apparent. On a superior mirage here, the physical is below, and the apparent is lifted up above. But what they're showing you here is this is Earth curve. This is Earth curve. So you can't see the physical boat, but you do see an image. So where did it come from? It must be coming from over the curve. So this boat in a superior mirage interpretation, this is not a physical boat. The physical boat is down here over the curve somewhere, miles and miles and miles away. And so
unbelievable.
My claim, based on stuff that I've and I can produce images and show you this, where the mirage itself changes and it fills out. This gets filled out. So like I said, if I could take away this mirage, so the guy wouldn't have taken a picture of this if there were no mirage. Why? Because he would just see a boat on the water. Who wants to take a picture of that? But in this instance, you've got a phenomenon where the mirage is the sky. The sky here, right here, is being miraged. And that's, I think, a bit of what you saw in my video that I showed, Essie, all those times ago.
Yeah, on that previous picture.
I'll agree with you that.
Go ahead, Essie.
No, I was just going to say that it looks like that boat is going up, loomed up, but in actuality, it's the sky that's being miraged down. The boat is in the actual position. I agree with Travis on that one.
Yeah, and the reflection of the sky is between the boat and the observer, and it somehow, how does it present the boat with a blurry actual kind of horizon out beyond the boat, but then mirages or mirrors in between the observer and the boat? that's just a crazy.
You know something, Storm?
Crazy.
If you zoom into that picture, you can actually see the actual horizon.
Yeah, it's beyond the boat. I mean, it's
Yeah,
at
you'd
the head
almost have
sail.
to. Let me see if I can adjust the levels on this.
I
real
mean, you
quick.
can see where the horizon is. It's right at the bow, kind of right at the head sail, where the head sail meets the bowsprit.
Yep. Yep.
So it's yeah. I mean, it's
plain to see that boat is not risen in the air.
Yeah. So, God, that's just amazing how images present.
When I saw
themselves.
that, bro, the first one I saw was at the golf course. It was this big oil tanker. My jaw dropped to the floor. I said, "What the hell? Look at that!"
You saw it in real life?
No. I saw it on a presentation. I forgot who it was. It was in the.
I know what you're talking about. The soccer thing or the golf thing where there's that huge tanker I know what you're talking
oil
about.
Tanker.
Yeah. Similar to that
That's
sailboat.
awesome.
It's raised way up beyond what the dark horizon looks like, and it's amazing. I mean, I can see how people in the past have gotten confused about these observations and use that to justify a presupposed belief of the ball. So, or that in the old days they tell us that, oh no, you can't sail out there because ships will fall off. So it was Columbus that had the courage to sail, and risk falling off.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that story? So,
yeah.
I just find it. I don't find it difficult to see how they were duped, because they didn't have the technology and these cameras that we do nowadays, and they didn't have people like Travis that went out there and spent 1,000 hours over years collecting this data. What would we do without Travis going out and spending the time that he does? I always say this, Travis, huge props for you going out.
Oh yeah, he deserves all the kudos.
Yeah,
and Storm,
man.
You have no idea how many pictures he has. Travis doesn't
you're right.
even
I don't.
How many pictures?
I know.
I'm guessing thousands of hours. How many hours would you say you put into, down at the shoreline filming? How many hours?
Well, if we just go back to what I spent in California at the end of January and February, I spent, probably 3 hours, an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the afternoon, times 2 because I have 2 cameras, but my own personal time. So that would be 3 hours, and then that's 17 days, so 17 times 3. But then, the time that I'm here on the Chesapeake, it's just hours and hours.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you just think about it. If you shot once and you went out and took 30 minutes of film, so you spent 30 minutes doing that, and then you come back and you
try and interpret what you've captured.
Right. So let's just say you just double your time precisely. So you do an hour. But if you edit and nip and tuck or do anything like that, then you're tripling and quadrupling your time. Right. I spend sometimes here on the Chesapeake 3 hours. So then just again think about spending another 3 hours that day, but I can't because I've got to go to work. And I was telling SE this, that I go, the next day comes out, I'm like, I should just look at my footage. But I go out and I shoot again. I just keep adding it exponentially. But let me walk through this real quick, guys, because I did this in a video, I think my second video on why can't Swan G Horizon. And I made this.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah,
I made this statement that I think that not too many. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. So if anybody has, I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, but I haven't heard it. But this is going to be a reiteration of what I just said. So we're looking here at this trolling fishing boat. This bottom dashed line shows you the inferior mirage because you have the bow coming down and then going back out on itself. And you can watch the bow open. It looks like a clown mouth at times. It's opening and closing. And the back, the stern is going to go dipping down into the band, coming up and disappearing. So you've got this inferior mirage here. Okay. So because we have simply a uniform presentation of what we think is the sky, we think that the inferior mirage only exists right here. But if you think about it this way, that when this boat moves over into this zone right here, it's still going to be miraged. So the mirage, the ether band exists right here. It's waiting for the boat. So this is not sky. This is, at this line right here, this is the inferior mirage of the sky. Because this is the inferior mirage line of this boat. Now, if we go into the distance, this farther horizon, this is the Anacapa Island coming down, hitting the vanishing line, coming back out. So everything below this is a mirage. Now, it's going to be easier right here to think that this part is a mirage, right? We know that this is the mirage of the land, and we're going to go, oh yeah, that's mirage too. But I don't think we think that it carries out over here. So now this is not just sky at this level. This is sky all the way. I mean, this is a mirage all the way up here for the farther distance as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, things which I have found, like I said, I haven't looked into this for very long, but in looking at all this footage and talking with you about this, it is so interesting how miraging will affect objects differently depending on their distance from you. It's not just a set line. It affects different objects at different distances in different ways. And I just find that, I don't know, fascinating. I just find it fascinating.
No, that is an aspect of the dynamism of this whole, this whole phenomenon. Because so when you get into discussing the phenomenon of tankers that look like they are cut in half by the water, right? It looks like they're over the curve. I mean, that's the only way to say it. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how we would say it if everybody understood that we were on a flat Earth and we saw it. I think that we would have a category for it. My claim that I've made is that we have miscategorized, misidentified, mislabeled these mirages so that we're not thinking about looking at them in different ways. So when I have conversations with Critical Think or Ruhif, they already, quote unquote, know what's going on. So I can't be right. I can't be right. That's Earth curve. And
they read it in Wiki, so you're wrong, Travis.
Right.
Yeah, besides, Travis, earlier today you were showing that in one of your things with Danny D, you showed that big tanker and it disappeared behind the bridge there and it just fell off the edge. You could see it just disappeared off the edge. I mean, you proved it, dude. You proved the Earth is a ball.
Yeah.
And shit just falls off the edge out there somewhere. Thanks, man.
Yeah, right. Okay, so
Travis, before I forget,
damn it, Travis! I really thought the Earth was flat, and you proved it a ball that things just fall off the edge.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize what I did.
Damn it! I just wasted 5 years. Thanks for nothing.
What's up, Essie?
That Muppet thing you did, bro. The Kermit thing.
Yeah, Grover.
Oh, that's priceless, man. You gotta incorporate that more. It's like for the dummies,
Yeah.
Dummies.
I used it in a previous video before as well, but so let's look at this. We have here a superior mirage on the left, okay?
Where it's lifted in, right.
Yeah, this is the Anacapa Arch.
Yep.
Okay. Now, where is it over here? This is the same island.
Fell off the edge.
Not only that, look at the timestamp. This is January 26, 2019.
Wow. 17-minute difference.
17 minutes.
No way. Wow.
17 minutes.
Like I said, how do you qualify minute to minute, day to day, hour to hour, what you're going to see? I would love to see Rumpus calculate, or anybody quantify this with a math equation that describes and predicts what your camera is going to capture in 17-minute difference.
Yeah.
Show me that equation, you guys. And I'd be damn impressed.
Well, think about
only
this.
in their brain.
Yeah, think about this too, guys. Again, because I'm shooting in the moment and I'm not logging down my every movement. I'm gonna bet money that I didn't move my camera. Okay, so I've got 17 minutes here. I didn't move my camera.
How does the top flatten out like that? How does that disappear?
Right. Yeah. So
that is crazy how the whole top of it flattens out.
Well, not only that though, but look how large the lighthouse is here, and you can't even see it.
Yeah, and you can't see it. Yeah.
Oh, but
that happened?
The atmosphere doesn't magnify anything. Yeah,
Nope.
Yeah, but again,
it's clear one side is pancaked and the other one is larger. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
So what's happening here is this line right here is created by the refraction. If I could take a magic rag away and wipe the refraction away, the water would go all the way up right here, all the way up to here.
Right. Yep.
Because
that leaves the rest of the island so compressed.
Yeah.
Above that line that it takes the hump and the lighthouse and everything out of the image.
I mean, just think about perspective. This is going into the distance. The water doesn't stop here. There's water right here.
Yeah, up until almost the bottom of that circle. I mean, it's, and if you didn't move your camera, look at the difference between the height of the horizon.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that difference.
Yep, that's why I make the statement that the Aether band shifts the entire scene proportionally. Everything gets shifted up.
Everything. Yep.
So
minute by minute.
And I've shown this, and they just don't. I don't know if they don't want to see it. I don't know if they don't want to understand it. I'm trying to find that side by side that everybody hates when I bring it up. This one right here. Right? Again, same location.
Yep.
The topography here is higher. If I drew a line up here, where's the topography? Why did it drop? Okay? Everything drops. Everything. This drops. The whole thing has dropped.
Yep.
And
relative to each other, and then there's even more drops, and then there's more distortion in the band. I mean, it's, again, just amazes me how things can change so quickly as it presents it to our whatever is observing it, a camera, our eyes, whatever, however we capture that images, it changes so quickly. And again, I can see how people in the past, used that as, proof of that, presumption or something. But with the cameras and everything we have now, and guys like you out there capturing it minute by minute, you can see the difference in just 17 minutes. So it's indisputable to me that we don't need an index. An index is simply a cataloging of certain effects. But yet, when you look at it in real life, how do you quantify that? How do you index the images that we're seeing here? How do you index that? You know, an index is not the image. It's just simply trying to catalog particular images with certain data. That's not the image itself. The index has nothing to
It
do
can
with
be done. It's
refraction.
like saying, show me the form of the lion during the day. Show me the correct form of a lion, right? He walks, he jumps, it's like insanity. How can you do that?
Yeah.
How can you show one instance of time, you know?
Yeah, there's not an equation that describes what actually happens in reality.
Yeah. You might be able to show it, but you can't equate it. How are you going to do that? It's like Travis says, you need a team of scientists. One on the water, one
Honestly,
on 1 inch
yeah.
above the ground.
Yeah, every
every
100 feet, you need to measure if you want to try and quantify it, and if you want to try and create an accurate index, then yes, you'd have to have people every 100 feet measuring from water height to 10 feet tall or 20 feet tall. The differences, and I mean, can you imagine trying to do the equation for that? There's no set equation that describes what you're going to see. You can predict all you want, but it's not going to be accurate. You can take all the data sets you can possibly imagine across that plane of water. You're never going to be able to write that in an equation. It's just not going to happen. Math is not reality.
Not only that, but you'd also have to take measurements vertically.
Exactly, from water level up to 20 feet or something.
Yeah, 30 feet.
Right.
How are you gonna do it, right?
30 feet. How are you going to do that?
Right. But hey, just to go through some of these, this one I'm a little bit dubious. This one it looks like I'm down close to the water, but I don't think that I am, because I would think that there's going to be more distortion on this. If I were actually down closer to the water, I think that we would have. I don't think we would see as far. I think that this would be distorted. So I'm going to take it for granted that I looked at this correctly. These are all the same focal length, but you'll notice that I try to get the red roof pavilion and the antenna in. The antenna is not here on this one, so this one might not be lined up as great because this is center frame and this is a little bit off. But nonetheless, you can even still see here, this house is bigger than this one.
Is that the same house you're looking at?
Yeah.
And look how magnified it is in one, and how squashed, and compressed it is in the other. Yeah. And let's look at the dates. What are the dates and the times? How far?
This is September 6th. This is September 15th.
All right.
This is 12 o'clock. This is morning, right before 7 o'clock. But you've got an inferior mirage here lifted up higher. You've got an inferior mirage here, but it's lower. You've got a solid band here in the middle. The solid band here is divided by a little band of darkness. But
it's just crystal clear above that band, whereas in the image on the left, it's really all distorted all the way up and stretched.
Right. Yeah. And my point is that this is not a focusing issue.
No, that's just distortion and the image being stretched. Look at you can look at the antenna and see all the distortion up high.
So even right here, again,
that's evenly matched.
This is This is the same image that was in the previous shot, but I've moved it over to the left. So this is just a day apart, roughly 23 hours apart.
Right.
The house is lower. Crazy. The house is lower than this one. You don't have the sandwich in the middle. You've got the sandwich in the middle. But look, they're both framed pretty well with the September 15th.
Yeah, right. But it still compresses somehow in the image, because the top lines up really well, but the bottom starts distorting and getting, the one on the yeah, like the fold line is higher on the one on the right.
Right.
And
Yeah,
yeah, man,
right.
God, that's just amazing. So, how did people back then, back in the day, take these different, uh, situations, the different horizons, moving up and down, bouncing all around, stretching, coming close, higher in their view, lower in their view? How did anybody figure out the radius of the Earth?
Exactly.
How did they do that?
Yeah.
What did they measure? We know because there's three things we do, and like, really? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, Eratosthenes is a joke, and
Al-Biruni, same thing.
Yeah, Al-Biruni. That
Biruni
was.
is a
I remember
joke.
having that conversation on Flat Earth Debate when I was still on the panel. It was like two years ago, and we had somebody come on and talk about Al-Biruni, and I took him to task. I'm like, you kid, that horizon is so dynamic. It's not going to be the same. So when you go out the next day, you wouldn't get the same measurement.
Right. Yeah, so there's no way they could be accurate. It is fun. I kind of got the whole flat earth thing right off the bat, and cursed myself for ever looking into it, because it just, you know how it is when something hits you and you're like, holy fuck. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Holy heck. Here's a rabbit hole that's going to be deeper than anyone I've ever gone down, probably. And but you can't deny what you see. And for me, it was because I've always dreamed about sailing around the Earth. And in the beginning, it was, how do you sail around the Earth and come back to the same place? And I watched one stupid flat Earth video, and it explained how north is in the center, and you just follow the magnetic compass, and it works out. And I was like, God dang it, that just makes perfect sense. You can run around. You can run around your block, and your block is not a ball. Oh man, that just made sense to me. Damn it.
Oh, you know what? Holy shit.
It was. Yeah, God, that was my oh shit moment.
No. I never saw this before. So, this little green blip right here is the number. I'm assuming it's the number 5 buoy that when I'm over here in front of the pavilion, I've captured this numerous times. Let me see if I can go into my thing and show you guys. I don't know. I don't want to take too much time hunting for it, but it might be pretty easily seen real quick.
Sorry, bud. I didn't mean to digress. I was sharing a little personal quip.
Yeah. Let me go.
How'd you get into this, Essie?
I would answer for him, but I wouldn't sound anything like him.
Oh, I see his mute button. Yeah. Right. What was it for you, Travis? I don't know if I've heard that story. What was it for you?
I was listening to a sermon, and the pastor was geocentric, so he wasn't a flat earther, but he was a geocentrist. So that the Earth is stationary and everything is revolving around the Earth. So, but he basically just debunked Coriolis with the flight paths from east to west. So if you're flying against the spin of the Earth, you're gonna get there in a quicker amount of time. And if you're going the other way, and you're not flying faster than the Earth is spinning, then the Earth is going to pass you by underneath.
Yeah, but you didn't make that connection listening to a pastor talk about geocentrism.
No. He made that argument.
Oh, all right.
He said to his congregation, You guys know what my view of the Earth is, and in case anybody doesn't, here's a quick little summary that of one of the reasons why I don't believe the Earth is rotating. So I'm driving in my truck. I'm not even prepared. Not even prepared for this. I'm not watching YouTube. I don't even access YouTube. My kids show me bad lip reading things on YouTube, but that's it. I did not know anything was out there about flat Earth. And this guy's argument lasted no more than 40 seconds, and I was done. I was driving in my truck, and I remember just driving straight, looking straight ahead, thinking, "Holy shit, that totally makes sense." That
Yeah,
totally
for me that was me too. It's like something I mean, and for me it was an oh man moment. I mean, I can't believe that it made sense to me, and from that moment I was hooked. That it's interesting that you had that same where, God, it just made sense moment.
Hold on, I'm just gonna say hello to X Forbidden. I don't think yeah, I guess he's still out there. X Forbidden 1 Gaming, thanks for being here. Yeah, just checking to see who's out there. So thanks for saying hi. Yeah, so that's what I said in my debate. I said I would have more respect for somebody who says, when I explain Coriolis, doesn't it make sense that if we do this, if we leave the frame of reference and fly in an opposite direction, doesn't it make sense? If they say no, either they are... I can't fathom it.
Right.
I can't fathom how you would say, no, that doesn't make sense. That makes perfect sense. That's what should happen.
Yeah, and that doesn't create so much as a question in your mind, proves that, well, cognitive dissonance, there's nothing you can say to change my mind kind of people. Those are paradigmatic people. For people like us, I would I flatter myself into being more empirical. I would obviously think of you the same way, Travis, that no matter what our worldview of something, when we see empirical evidence of something, even though it shatters our worldview of something, it still doesn't change that we have to look and accept empirical evidence, at least as a question, and start investigating whether our belief system is based on empirical evidence and so forth. And so, yeah, when something just makes sense, you're kind of an empirical person where you look at that evidence and go, I mean, it's hard to deny. You can't at least say that doesn't bring up a question in your mind that something could not be the way I was taught.
Right.
So, yeah, man, I'm the same way. It's obviously you're the same, where you saw that evidence and it blew your mind and it made sense, at least as far as enough to question it. And obviously for somebody like you, I mean, you're light years ahead of my enthusiasm, amigo. I mean, you spend thousands of hours doing what you do so we can sit here and have a conversation about it, man. So, you're obviously way more motivated to figure out the truth than I am. I sit here as a keyboard warrior and wait for guys like you to do all the work you do so that we can, discuss it and try and figure out the truth. So, again, huge props to you for doing all this.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. I love it. So it's no imposition on me whatsoever. Just real quick, looking at this image, you can see we've got a clear line of sight down to the shore. This brown is right in front of this pavilion here. The pavilion.
And is that the shoreline? That's the shoreline right there.
Yeah,
yep.
That's where I set up and shoot back in this very same direction. So I'm
right.
To the right of the pavilion is where I set up, and there's a boat ramp here. I actually have to go back into my September file, or is it maybe it's October file, because I have a boat getting taken out of the water, and I've got it on film. But just look at right here. So you've got this. Here's the Red Roof Pavilion. Here it is again right here. Here it's mirrored on itself. Right? So this is what started to lead me down the direction that this is the Aether Band and it's not water. It's not water creating this mirror. Because if it was, this would be underwater.
Right. Yep.
The water would have to be all the way up, and that would mean that there's a flood. I would have, where I'm standing, I would be underwater.
It's the air above the water creating that image. It's not the water.
Right. Correct.
Agreed. I mean, are we on the same page there?
Yeah. That's exactly
right.
what I'm. And my point is that it starts right here. It's
where it disappears the water into your disclosure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The disclosure band to the top where, and I've seen some of your images where that, what you call the ether band is, just a tiny thin little line above the horizon, and then other days it's the entire image above the water line, the disclosure line, what that is distorted. And
right,
it's just amazing the effects, these optics that you're able to capture nowadays. It's amazing. I love being in this time where we have these images to discuss even.
Yeah. And
imagine somebody back in the 100 years ago trying to have this conversation. You wouldn't. There's no
well, yeah, I mean,
you can buy a Galileo telescope for $6.
Yeah. So just even look right here with this image of this sail, right?
God, that's crazy.
So because you see a uniform shape, I think most people think that this, here's the top of the sail. It goes all the way down, and what's below the sail but the boat? Well, if I can't see the boat must be behind this. No, the boat is right here.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, right in the middle of that dark that dark little slit down the middle of the sail is where the mirage is.
Yeah. So this
and the bottom of that is reflecting upwards. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is a completely different mirage than one that I can show you where there is no inferior mirage of the sail, but the horizon is actually cutting off the image itself. But again, that's a completely different mirage.
Well, what's your data? I mean, you got to have the data to figure that out.
I do. They're called images. They're called images, right? But yeah, I mean, it's from hours and hours of looking at this stuff and trying to think, what the hell am I seeing? Why?
Yeah, no,
why is this happening?
That's exactly the point, Travis. These guys that need their data and they want to index something and try and put it into some mathematical formula that you can look at in orthographic view and make excuses for why there's no actual evidence of what you're believing. Yeah, no, this just blows holes into all of that.
Let me go.
You handled yourself really, really well with that guy. Stuck with your images.
See this right here?
Yeah, look at that. And you can see the bend. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's right here. It's like right crazy. But see, this is the whole thing. It's like this is less than 5 miles away because it's not the whole distance across the Chesapeake at this point is 5.85 miles. So this is not on the shoreline. It's off the shoreline some distance, but I don't know it. But the refraction in the air, even right here, I can see something blue dancing right here.
Yep. Yeah, and if you look at the refraction of the tree line,
right, exactly.
It's higher up than where
Yes.
the
Correct.
mirror image starts at
Yep.
the sailboat.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, and I actually did a still and broke that down just like you said. So let's go right here. So this is ground level. Right here. This is ground level.
really.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's the cannon.
Right. Well, this
And
part right here is not the cannon. The cannon is right here.
All right, so in that
And you
image we
just
can't see
you
it.
just can't see it. But
That's
here's
the
the
dock.
flag. Here's the flag. Right, boom, right there. This is ground level. I mean, think about what that means in terms of what the Smurf this kind of world would have to be. I would say, because this is 5 miles away, you would have to put this hump in the middle of the river, and then you're going down one side, and then you've got an elevated landscape on the other side. What is this? This is cresting and troughing?
Yeah, it's like a wave. You're like the whole earth is waving there, and the boat is in the bottom of one wave, and the buildings across are at the top of another wave. Like the, like how do you describe that mathematically? Come on, Rumpus, show me that in math.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no way, man. You can't put that.
Again, I'm not afraid of talking about these images because I have them. I'm showing you images of boats that are doing the same thing as large container ships, right? So this is the same. It might have a bit of a different expression.
I want to see ray tracing that describes that sailboat and image that we were talking about before. Show me the ray tracing, how that works, how you put everything, cresting and waving and in a dip and
Trying to get past these. There was okay. So let's see. I'm not sure when I'm going to zoom in. Okay. So right here we've got this sailboat that is closer to me because we don't have as much disappeared, as much vanished. I mean, you can kind of this. I don't know the terminology, but this forward sail,
head sail,
is the head sails right here. You've got
and that looks like a
this space
Genoa
in the
because
back,
it's
okay?
further back behind the mast. So that's described as a Genoa, and yeah, you can see the boom, but now see that's a crazy image because the boom on your mat, coming off your mast is typically around the same height. Not always, but it's usually about the same height as your head sail is. But that you can actually see the cockpit behind the mat or behind underneath the boom there on the left side of that sailboat. You can see the boom, and then underneath that, just a tiny bit of the cockpit.
Yeah.
But the Genoa, which, I mean, if you looked at a real image of a sailboat with a Genoa out, you'd look at that and ask yourself, how the hell does the Genoa disappear behind the horizon when the boom shows a little bit of the cockpit? That's an amazing image.
Okay, so here let me try to do these two in tandem, because this goes into my explanation of what I believe is going on, that we need to reclassify the images that we're seeing. So give me a second until I put these two side by side.
Yeah, no, I agree. We need to start using and redefining these terms, about mirages and refraction and all this. You can't. I don't think you can. I don't think you can reduce it down to 5, words to describe what we see. It's amazing. I think it's a lot more in depth than miraging, looming, towering, sinking, stooping.
Okay, so
think
here's let me talk through this real quick. I'm going to drop this down so that we have it on the same. Okay, so if this water comes to an end for us because this is Earth curve, then this is a geometrical location. You can get there. And it's.
I was thinking of that, but I go, nah, I'm not gonna make the joke. It's pretty obvious.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
This is what I say as I've worked through my stuff as well. And I mean, to better understand this, we need to get people out here so that, because this is what I said about my in my video with. My criticism of the MC and Critical Think is they don't give any distances to the horizon. They don't crunch
the
their
bulge,
numbers.
right? Yep.
They just assume that the horizon is where it should be. But the thing is that if you're going to make the claim that this is where it should be, get out there and measure it, and then tell me how far away this horizon is from this boat, and I'm going to guarantee you it's too close.
Well, if you look carefully, right on the horizon, you can see MC Tune with the end of the tape measure. You know, we've got a 6,000 foot tape measure that we're measuring him.
Yeah.
You can see him. He's tiny. It's hard to see, but he's out there. He's holding it.
Okay, so let me say it this way, guys. Let me say it this way, okay? Just like we can demonstrate and understand that this boat is right here. The hull of the boat is here, and you cannot see it.
No, the reflection starts above the hull.
Okay, so we have two structures. We have this warehouse. It's got a very small inferior mirage down here toward the water. You don't have a full roof mirrored down here, but we're going to put the vanishing line right here. The vanishing line goes right here and boom, hits right here. So the hull of this ship has been vanished by refraction. If anyone can say, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. So the mirage can swallow up an entire I don't know what it not only height, but also it's a three-dimensional. It's height and width. The length of the sailboat is gone. The height of the sailboat is gone. And so the criticism is how can the refraction swallow something like that up? I don't even know how to say it. So here we have the same, but see how much more crisp it is?
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we still have the swallowing up of because you don't know where this line is. So everything that's happening above this line, it's crazy. I'm saying that, like I said before, if I could wipe away this mirage, you would see the boat. It's right there.
Yeah, if it was on one of those clear, crisp days where you could see across the shore to the beach.
Well, but I can show you that.
I know.
I can pull that up, and it's not crisp. When I get across the shore, it's never crisp. It's always trying to find one of the
hazy. It's always
high. It's always highly refractive. Yeah. Now there's no when you can see farther. There's no
there is no perfect day
no
to
inferior
see
mirage.
1,000 miles.
There's no inferior mirage, but the image is still grossly distorted. Shit.
That's
I had all
because
this stuff
light
pulled up.
doesn't travel
it was just like
in
I
a
had
straight
so
path.
much footage, and I was like, I do not know how to even start going through this stuff because there's just so much. I'm trying to think.
Travis, is this an IR pick?
What's that?
Is that an IR pick? The purple one, infrared. Because you had 3 cameras up there, no? If I'm not
Well, it
mistaken.
depends on what. Are we? Did I just have it pulled up?
Yeah,
You see
yeah. I think it
something?
was
I don't
previous
s-
one.
I don't see anything in this.
It's like a shade of purple, or I think because I remember I saw some of your IR pics, and I heard Sean and some other guys talking about it, and I forgot to mention it because I wasn't sure, but I think those are some of your IR pics, no?
I don't see any here in the files that I have opened up right now. The only thing that I can see right now this is a sunrise, and that's just the natural tone of the sky. It was actually beautiful. I'm trying to open this up, and it's not opening up right now. There it is.
No, not that. Not that.
Not that one?
It's like a purplish. I remember you had sent me a few pics when you
this
first
one.
went
This
out.
one.
I think that's one of them. Yeah.
This is my This is just my desktop. But I think that this is just simply the dusk to dawn setting on the camera itself. This is one of the filter settings on the P900.
Okay, Sean is saying they're due to auto white balance.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Anyways, I don't know if you remember when you first went out, you had some pics. You had 3 cameras, right?
Well, it
You're
depends
2,
on.
and
Yeah,
you had an IR camera.
Right.
Am I correct or wrong?
No, you are. When I was in California, I think midway through, when I went up to Santa Barbara for the first time, I met up with BMLS, and he let me borrow his IR camera, and I had it for about 7 days. I don't know if I had it when Sean was down. Let me pull up real quick. Did somebody put something in chat? Oh, Storm said he'll be right back. Okay. Sean, I would invite you in, but I want to wrap this up. I'm tired, and I said that I was only going to talk for like a half an hour, didn't I, Essie? And here we are, like an hour and a half later. But trying to think of what I'm doing real quick. I was going to show you IR stuff. So pictures, Etherband, Emmawood, Anna Kappa. I think I have them all listed in IR. So we'll just.
I know you sent me some like a month ago. Yes, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, this is absolutely just ghost. Just such.
Man, you have so many pictures. You don't know what you have, bro.
I know, dude. I know.
I'm telling you.
I know. I've got like this crazy winning photograph, and I don't even know it yet. There's my troll. Do you see my troll right here? You see this image right here?
Yeah.
There's the eyeball. There's like the nose. I made a meme of it, and I called it my Brenda troll. Where's the boat? Where'd the boat go? Yeah.
No, you had some good ones of the platform. The platforms.
Yeah, so you can see right here, there's Gina right here.
Whoa. How far is that, Gina, from the shore?
10 to 12 miles.
Okay. Wow. And how high would you say you are there?
Well, you can see how far down the water is. It was low tide. Look at that. Hold on.
That's what I'm talking about. You had some better ones that you can see clear under.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's nice too.
I mean, you got an inferior mirage right here, so there it is. But everything underneath this, is hiding physical Gina. Let me go back real quick. So there's my setup right here. So here you can see the beach is probably like 40 feet of the until the breakers, but it's a gradual grade, down. So I'd say about 20 feet high,
At the most.
20 feet.
Yeah, that's
At
a
the
pretty
most.
good pick there.
But you always give leeway to the
Look at that.
opposite side, right? Yeah.
Look at that beautiful picture. That's nice.
And there's a boat right here. There's a boat coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see where the image folds.
Yeah.
And then
Look at the
everything
weight.
from that and the disclosure line, or what I don't know, the horizon where the water is
Yeah. So this
is mirage.
This is one of the H platforms that's up toward BMLS, and you can clearly see that there's an inferior mirage right here, and
Yep.
I've got this thing where you can see the legs of this thing clear as day, and right here they're swallowed up in the band, man. It's not curved.
It almost looks like there is a difference where it folds from the right side of the platform to okay, in that
No,
image
hold on,
or
I'm gonna
right
try
there.
I'm going to try to come in a little bit. Hold on. So what are you talking about?
So doesn't it look like if you put your cursor on the right side of the platform where you see those lines it start to bend out? Yeah, a little higher. Like right in there. Yeah, right in there where you can see the that vertical shadow line
Yeah.
dropping down on the right side, and
Yeah,
then it juts out to the right.
Okay.
So that looks like the folding layer right there.
Sure,
But if
right
you
here,
trace
right
that, if you trace that horizontally across, it doesn't look like the left side. It doesn't look like that the bottom of the crane is refracted in the same way.
Right.
Does it? I mean, that crane looks like it goes straight down. It doesn't.
Sure.
It doesn't
Yeah.
back off itself. That how can it reflect and mirage different in just 100 feet in
Yep.
the image?
Yep. My answer would be, who the hell cares? It just does.
Yeah, man. Right.
I'm not going to try to science the shit out of that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess that's my point. It was kind of rhetorical.
But here you go. Look at this one. That's the same one.
Yeah. See, now it looks like
And
the
now
left side.
Now you've got more of a developed.
Yeah, a more developed mirage on the left side than the right. I mean, come on, man. That's just me. How does that happen? How can you? Somebody wants to put that in a mathematical equation and tell you that it proves a ball. Like, come on, you guys. You got to come up with something better than that. There's no math that describes that.
There's a freighter right there. Look at that. That's
Wow.
a cargo. That's a cargo ship. Look at the space between.
Right.
This thing is totally magnified. Totally magnified.
Is that a train connected at the base?
This is an ocean liner train.
Train, yeah.
Yeah, these are train cars.
I think I see Vin Diesel or something down there trying to disconnect
Look at that sky. That's crazy.
the chain to save the planet.
There you gotta.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That you go out and capture all this stuff that we can sit there and dissect, man. That's just, what is that?
That's a sailboat. So again, I would say that you've got the boat up here, and this is the inferior mirage down here. But when somebody sees this, they're going to think that the sail goes all the way down, and then you've got the boat here. But the thing about that is that this would have to be so much farther away to get, because of the great scale negator, right? Because the Earth isn't sloped dramatically. It's a very, 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 very indiscernible grade, right?
You mean baller approach? You mean?
Yeah, correct. It would prove too much. If you want to say that this is curve, this boat would have to be farther away, and if it were farther away, this would be smaller. You can't have your cake.
You know if that boat is heading toward you or not?
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah.
One of the things that frustrates me,
it looks like that's a spinnaker laying out front with the mainsail in the back. Like that looks like they're flying wing. That looks like a ketch that is flying wing on wing. Like that looks like two sails out, wing on wing, with a what's the rear mast called on a ketch? Drawing a blank right now. Wow, look at that. Wow. Guys, see, you look at that image close up and you think, oh, that's just right off the coast. But no, yet that's an image taken with an 83 times zoom. We're just not, it's so hard to tell perspective in an image unless you know what the person's zoom is and all that. See, that looks like a
so
wing.
I mean, I would find it difficult to explain these images if I didn't have...
Yeah, if you didn't know the distance where you were...
Well, no. If I didn't have these images, if I didn't have other images to compare these to... Let me try to bring this up.
Oh, right, yeah. If you were looking at just a singular image, trying to use a singular image as an explanation...
So
yeah, unless you have a bunch of comparisons, you can't make any kind of logical conclusions.
Yeah. So
this is a perfect mirage.
It's absolutely beautiful. I know that it's
yeah. Look at that.
It's not very crisp, but this is what we need to understand is that this entire space right here is blocking water. This is physical water. As well as this is magnified because if I wiped this away and the water was revealed,
yeah, you'd see the water going right up to
the water going straight up to
platform, to the base of the platform. Yep.
But here's the this is the Pied de Resistance. I showed this to Nathan Oakley and his troop over a year ago, and it never got any traction, and I just let it go.
That's a straight line inferior mirage, a beautiful one at that.
But this is the Gina platform. This is the same platform as this.
God, that's just crazy.
So so where'd the body go, right? So
how far is this one, Travis?
Same. This is the same. This is like 10 miles away. This is the same location.
Wow.
Shot at the same a year ago in January.
And see now,
but you can see
when images bounce around that much. Again, how does anybody look out at the horizon, think that they can measure it, and come up with a presumed radius? Anybody that claims that they can look out and take a measurement and extrapolate that into a ball, they're just being dishonest. With all of the images that you've captured, Travis, that you can compare that show how crazy it is what we see, for them to say that, take the position that they could ever measure it and extrapolate from there, it just blows me away. You prove beyond the shadow of any doubt that there is no measurement that you can take, that it varies day to day, hour to hour, minute by minute. Yeah. There's no way you can come up with a geographical, measurable distance to the edge of a presupposed sphere. you absolutely blow that argument. Well, I hate to say it, but out of the water.
Yeah. So when
you do,
first...
man. You've captured so much that proves that that's not possible. Yeah, man. Just my hat off to you, brother. Hat off to you.
Well, I mean, I'm open to having this be, a community effort, so that something that I've produced or whatever takes someone else in another direction, or they can say it better than I can, or help me to refine what I'm saying. So, all of this is for...
You say it pretty well, Travis. You know your work, and you don't get excited, and you stay very calm. You did get a little heated when he was talking about direction, referring back to the debate tonight. But yeah, man, you debate well. You've got a very calm demeanor, and you can really tell by listening to you that you just want to describe and better describe what your cameras are capturing. So no, you seem like a very honest person in just trying to explain what you've captured on film with I mean, I don't want to discount Dan, whoever that guy was. I'd love if people sent you $10,000 and you could buy better cameras. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So everybody send Travis money so we can buy. I don't know what better cameras there are for it, but I thought that was such a cheesy argument where, okay, I can't discount any of your images, so okay, you need a better camera. It's such a cheesy out for that guy.
Just the lenses cost like $6,000.
Yeah, like he's gonna.
Yeah, they're expensive. They are massively expensive.
And then you need the body, right? Another couple of thousand there. It's only $8,000,
Yeah, man.
No
hey,
sweat.
Man, everybody send Travis money so he has $8,000 to buy whatever camera. That dude he was debating tonight thinks he needs in order to prove he lives on the globe. Send him all the money you got.
Simple. Yep.
Yep. It's simple. Just. Yep. God, I thought that was such a cheesy out, man. He was bailing at that point. He was, the boat was filling up. He was bailing water as quick as he could, and he had no other out. Oh, you just need better cameras. That was his. That's how he discounted your imagery. Man. What a cheesy effort.
Yeah. I've learned to curb my tongue when somebody says that, because it just to me just shows.
No, you could tell in your tone that it bit you. You could totally tell by your tone.
Yeah.
Because that was such a full of shit argument. Well, you just need better cameras to prove what I believe. Come on. What a pussy.
All right, guys, I am going to wrap this up. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep getting distracted by I'm going to get it. Look at this image of the same platform. Hold on, here we go. Let's see how long it takes to pull up.
I'm gonna. You were like the little ADHD. Hey, look at this. Oh, look, shiny quarter.
All the time. See you later, Sean G. We'll catch up, man.
I don't know how you keep up with the chat while listening to this.
I don't hardly. I just happen to look over there right when he posted.
That's
so look at this.
Pretty good.
Okay, so look how stretched the rigging is up here at the top, right?
Look at that. Yeah.
And then right here.
And then it compresses. Look at that. Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah, this one actually I ought to show you this in video. This in video, this thing there, here we go. Look at that.
That platform is like
the Twin Towers.
What is it? 2,000 feet tall?
That's the Twin Towers.
Yeah,
right there.
that's man. Look, that image proves those platforms are 2,000 feet tall.
Look at that.
Yep. Oh my God.
If that is stretching, My name is Bob.
Wow.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's all our
Jesus
uncles,
Christ.
man. Yeah,
Is that a
exactly. He's
stretched
Christ.
Mirage?
Yeah, we're all Bob's uncle. Bob's all our uncle.
This is right here. This is that the beak. You know, that the nose that comes out, and it's
Wow.
that inferior mirage right here, and then the whole thing is just stretched. So you've got two different dynamics going on. You've got an inferior mirage right here, and then you've got
That's what I
towering.
thought.
And then you've got
Yeah,
towering.
and again, like we were talking earlier, how it could be so different from even the right side of the platform to the left side of the platform.
And then look how
And
small.
now
the-
you've got a tiny thing with the platform itself. Man, that is
and
amazing.
then look
That
how
looks like the Twin Towers, man. That's
That's
It
huge
what I
does.
said.
shit.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah.
That's what you should call this one, bro. The Twin Towers.
Yeah. And
Look at
it.
that.
I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but there's a fishing line going right here.
In gematria, that would be 33. I'm kidding. I have
Of
no idea.
course.
I'm just... Wow, look at
and
that.
Then look,
dude.
and then this
Right?
part's disappearing. Look at that.
See, how does that happen? I mean, how wide are those platforms?
And then this is
300
split
feet?
in half.
300 feet? How wide is
I
that
don't even know.
platform?
It's very, very difficult to find the specs on these things.
But how can it mirage differently from side to side?
I don't know.
Well, it again, nobody has an explanation. There is no quantification for it. There is no math that describes it. You don't need the data in order to predict what we what do they always say? To predict what we expect to see.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, magicians.
Yeah, man. How do you really? So you expect somewhere in your data, you expect that a platform
All right. So
that
here
is
we go,
whatever
guys.
300 feet wide to have twin towers disappear, halfway through the image.
All right.
There's no math.
Honestly, I'm gonna wrap it up after this, but let me do this real quick.
There's one more shiny quarter, Travis. One more
Uh-huh.
shiny quarter.
I know,
Yep,
right?
look at this.
Okay, hold on. I gotta make this smaller. All right, so this right here. There's the lighthouse is right here.
Yep.
Here's the lighthouse here. Okay, so here, if you were to see this, I would think that you would assume that this entire image is physical, that the island is down here.
Yeah, if you were just looking at that image alone, you'd say that's a island with a sharp cliff on the left-hand side, and right? Yep.
Right. Okay, but this is the same distance. Look how small and compressed it is. You have an inferior mirage where the sky, this is the sky right here. Okay, so this line right here is created by the limit of the mirage. Now, my point is that this entire landmass is all compressed right here in this small
In
little
that
area
tiny
right here.
little- yeah.
So this is not physical land. So you still have things that are going on right here that are compressed. So when you have ships in the distance, and you say, how can it be disappeared? My question is, how can this be up in the air? How can you not see the lighthouse? How can the topography go up and down here, but it's flat right here? You can't answer these questions. It just is, guys. It just is.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, I
dynamic
agree.
system. That's the only thing we could say, and it varies from moment to moment. That's it. Nobody
it really
could.
does. And
You
that
can't
image of the
pinpoint
Twin
it.
Towers, that image, however wide that platform is, the image is distorted left to right. I mean, in however many pixel wide that image is captured in just that amount of space. That is incredible.
And it takes so long to make a decent presentation, guys. It takes, well, for me, it takes me a long time. Maybe,
Yeah, did you figure out what happened with their what you were trying to present with?
I just couldn't remember the order of the spot that I wanted was toward the end of the video, and I had too much in between, and I just it was a really dramatic example of an inferior mirage where I don't even know how to explain it. It's just dramatic.
Yeah.
But okay, guys.
Yeah, bummer you couldn't find your footage right then.
Yeah, I know. And I wanted to be prepared too, but okay, I am starting to crash big time, so I'm gonna.
All right, my friend.
Here.
Good night. Have a great evening.
Good night, guys.
Thanks
Good
for
show,
spending
Travis.
time, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Good
Thanks for
debate.
having
You
us on,
whooped his
Travis.
ass.
Well, ultimately, I guess that's what it is about. But all right.
Well. For the people that are listening, we all make our own judgments on who prevails in a debate. There is no right or wrong. So everybody makes their own judgment about who made good arguments and who fluttered and everything like that.
Sure.
But to all of us that got your back, man, you did great. You proved he had no idea what he was talking about. So
yeah, I think that if
job done.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you do pay attention and listen, and again, I don't know everything either. But
who does? All right, my friend. Have a good night, man.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we'll catch
Night,
up
Travis.
with you later.
Night, Storm. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Night, Essie.
Night, John Boy. All right, everybody out there in YouTube land. Thanks so much if you are there. I have no idea if anybody's there anymore. So it looks like I don't know if that means that I've got 8 viewers right now or not, but let me just check and see if this says.
Job done.
Watching. Yeah, I agree. I think that if you do pay attention and listen, and again, I don't know everything either. All right. Before you leave, if there's still 8 of you watching, make sure.
All right,
you
my
hit the
friend. Have a good
response
night.
early.
Man.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we'll catch
Night,
up with
Travis.
you
Night,
guys
Storm.
later.
Good